last game? I know Nil did some...
We're at the pub. Nil's getting
guys,
hammered.
Pub, so. All right, I shall open it for us. Okay, the party at last has finally made it to Jalad. After a long and eventful journey, they uncovered the secret cargo of Captain Scarlet and tracked it to the Gilded Quarter, where it was taken away to a mansion of sorts. Along the way, Nil received a rather cryptic note beckoning them to the Crab Warren for what the note did not say in particular. You all find yourselves in the pub, and we can begin.
Oh, God.
The last thing we decided on, right, was that Falkern was too dressed up to go to the Crab Warren.
Yes.
Yes.
He needed to kind of
Grunge her down.
Yeah, needed to
Makeover.
Give me 1 second.
I can kind of imagine Rashida like aiding with the makeover. You know, like here, now tear your skirt like this.
And Falcron's just gonna be like, oh, I don't. Oh,
You
I
got
don't
it. Come on, it's fun. She just rips another part of her skirt.
Falcon is fighting the urge to use mend.
Reject your nature. Reject it.
Oh, it's gonna be okay. Why are we going to the Crab Warrens again? Oh, because of the note.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got this note, and I think there may be some very interesting things going on over there. And given the other interesting things we found.
All right.
And I filled you guys in on following the, that's not for me. Filled you guys in on following the statue, and it ended up at some mansion.
Mm-hmm.
Up a hill.
Well, it's not necessarily a statue so much as it's a set of armor on a mannequin.
The armor. That's right. It was the armor. Yeah. So then we decided to go to the Crab Warren because she got the note, and it seemed like maybe that would be a good place to go get some information.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in the slums. Could be some fun clandestine stuff going on. Seems like a fun thing to do with our night.
Because why not?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, apparently we just follow notes now. It's whatever.
I mean, if it gets us to where we need to
What's
go.
the difference between... What is the difference between following a note and following a random pamphlet that says there's a god out there that you've just chosen to believe in?
Well, see,
Me
the
following
pamphlet's
that.
designed. It has individuals that go behind the scenes and write up the text and design it and put out the layout for it. So there's a few things that are and someone's just scribbling on a note that's not exactly, you know.
But do you see, Rashida? Do you see that somebody chose a very special pen and the exact right piece of torn paper to make this note? So what's
You guys still have untouched items of food.
Do we?
I don't. I'm drinking.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, Falcon. I think Falcon is like picked at her food, but she's having moral qualms with the whole thing. She'll get over it, but
I mean, if there's food, Rashida's eating it.
Falcon, I'm going to need a perception check.
okay.
I love how we just had a pamphlet versus note conversation.
Honestly, crazy. Perception based on wisdom, and I've got +6, so 14.
Shit. Okay. You look down, and you see the gloved hand of Akima trying to slowly pull your plate away from you.
Falcon looks at Akima and helps push the plate towards her. If you're really hungry, go for it.
Well, okay. And she takes the plate and just starts eating whatever's left on it.
Oh, so generous.
So she finishes consuming the remains
The
of
remains.
Walker's meal, and wipes her mouth and then goes, "So we're headed to the Crab Warren."
Yeah, have you ever been to the Crab Warren?
No, this is my first time in this place.
I've been to lots of strange places, but I've never been there. But it
Well, I'm
seems
sure we
like
can
it's
find
not-
someone who knows their way.
Yeah, but do we trust anybody?
We trust people who write us weird notes.
Well, I'm not saying we
Oh.
go in there and say, let's marry you and give you all my treasures and all my gold.
I don't think you trust marriage.
I don't think she trusts anything.
That's not true. I trust myself.
And liquor.
And I do mostly trust alcohol, but you never know.
And you know what? If nothing else, we can trust in that.
Yeah, see, I do trust in, I believe in something. Just
Mm-hmm.
because it didn't come in a pamphlet doesn't mean it's not valid.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I suppose, so we're going to go to the Crab Warren. Apparently, I look too good to go to a Crab Warren. So,
I mean, you do stick out like a sore thumb.
Just,
Well,
just,
thanks.
just shoot a thing with ripping the skirt like I told you.
I don't like ripping my things. At this point, I wonder if I might as well paint myself green and pretend I'm a goblin.
I mean, we could just find her like a really big cloak that she could just wear around everything and hide everything that way.
And that would help conceal you. I might have. Oh no, I only have.
We could also just grab some sludge from the road and wipe it on you, and then I'll give you the right amount of scent.
I like the big cloak idea.
Yeah, let's go with the cloak
In
idea.
comparison, that one's better.
Let's.
Falkern is clearly struggling mentally at the moment.
Let's go get some supplies, look around, and then we can get Falcon a nice big cloak to cover up how fancy and lovely she really does look.
That, and, if she really needs to use the things that she's wearing, she doesn't have to stop and put it back on.
That's true, that's true. All right, shall we go on then?
So, Rashida stands. Well, I'm ready.
Did we pay for our food already? I've forgotten.
I'm going to say, for the sake of brevity, yes, you have.
Okay, good.
Thank God.
What was the name of the? So we're gonna go find a cloak for Falcon now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe see if anybody knows where the Crab Warren is.
Ooh, will we happen, as we're on our way to town, would we happen to walk past like a blacksmith or something?
I mean, you can. There's plenty.
Yeah.
Because I think
Alright.
Falkrin would get really excited and then like offer to cover herself and like forge soot.
I mean, it's pretty much the same thing as grabbing sludge and wiping it all over your face.
No, this one honors Moradin. It's the forge, the foundry.
What if they honor a different god?
Oh no, anybody who is good at blacksmithing honors Moradin.
Can we come see your Sims house, Summer? Alright, I'll be right back. Summer just finished a Sims house and really wants me to come
Ooh,
see
nice.
it. It will be gone for like 1 minute.
Okay.
You want to say what?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, come with you really quick. Alright, I will be right back.
All
Figure out
right.
what you're gonna- Let's just say Nil is lurking behind all of you drinking.
Oh, God.
Most excellent.
Probably sauntering.
God.
Johnny Depp walking.
Heavy song. Heavy song.
Probably snorting some cocaine along the way.
Yeah. What's the D&D equivalent of cocaine?
Well,
It's just cocaine.
Skooma is the
It's the
equivalent
same.
of Skyrim, so.
Oh, Skooma, yep.
Huh?
Yeah. That's the stuff.
It's the good stuff.
Khajiit as well as if you have coin.
Yeah.
I got a shit ton of skooma. Will that help? Khajiit fly.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, gorgeous. That was beautiful.
Dang. Now I really want to play Skyrim.
Dude, I had the urge like a couple months back, and I played it solid for a full month.
Joke. That's so good.
Oh, it was so good to just dig into those shoes again and just fucking run around like an idiot.
Boost row die, everything.
Ugh. Act like, you know, I actually live there and like adopt children and shit.
Yeah. Look, I can afford a house in Skyrim. Like,
Yeah.
ah.
Hey.
Hey, man.
Goodness. Good times. Good times.
Now I just pretend I'm like this badass samurai that cuts off people's heads in this game.
Ooh.
So that's fun.
Nice. What'd you say the game was called again?
It's called Ghost of Tsushima.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, it's kind of based on the historical events of the Mongol raid on the Isle of Tsushima.
Ooh.
And you play as a samurai whose clan was wiped out on the beaches, and you sort of go through the playthrough of like rescuing your uncle and reforming some form of rebellion against the Mongols, and it's actually really fun.
Nice. That's cool.
It's dope. Oh, are you getting thunder?
Yeah, you heard that?
Yeah.
It's like there's no rain yet. I just want it to pour. I want like a good solid rain where it's like thick drops, you know,
Yeah.
for hours.
I know today it started. No, not today. I think it was yesterday. It did that where it just rained the majority of the day. And it was really nice, and it was kind of like on and off, of course. But like there were moments where it was just like boom, and then we have a sunlight, so like you can hear the rain pattering on top of it.
Ooh. Love that. That's so good.
So that was nice.
Yep.
Okay, sorry.
You're all right.
You are
Sims
forgiven.
are so very important.
Listen, they are. I've played too much Sims in my life.
I love Sims. Oh my god.
Yep.
I'm just completely obsessed with The Sims.
I'm banned with it though, because they won't let me download the thing anymore.
What? Oh no.
For some reason, my account on Origins doesn't work anymore, so they're just like, "You're banned." You can't
Oh,
play
that
the Sims."
sucks.
Oh! Dang.
Yeah. After spending like $40 on almost all of the expansions, you know, each one, I'm just like,
Dang.
fuck you.
Why would you ban me? Dang, I wonder how well, like, can you imagine trying to create kind of like a layout of a dungeon in The Sims, and then everyone has a Sim that's their character. Okay. Now, and like using that to show like, okay, what do you want your Sim to do? And I
Oh
don't
my
know.
god, that'd be weird.
So bizarre.
That'd be bizarre. And then, like, you know, all of a sudden one of them, like, is not really being paid attention to, and all of a sudden they just burn down the dungeon because they
Right.
tried to make cereal.
A fire has started on the lot. It's like, who cast fireball?
No one! Someone was making cereal!
Oh gosh, or you're in the middle of a fight, but then one of them like wets themselves because you didn't let them go pee. Like, oh, freaking Sims.
The Grim Reaper comes.
Oh my god.
And then he becomes a part of the party.
That's when Nil or Seth, I could see either of them being like, death!
Yes.
Stick with them.
Neil doesn't necessarily want to die, because that means an end to the drinking.
I could see Nil meeting death and being like, do you want to get a drink?
Yeah. Yeah. Neil would probably get along better with Death than Seth, because Seth would just be so excited that Death, like Sedna would be freaked out. But Neil would be so chill that she and Death would probably become best friends.
Mm-hmm.
Until she tried to steal something from Death.
Fair.
Yeah, that's quite a possibility.
Probably try to take his side and be like, look, I'm an assassin.
Let's cut a deal.
Oh, God.
Did I miss anything?
No, I think we're still headed on our way to look for a
I was just asking if we walk past a blacksmith, then I'll cover myself in like forge muck because that one is good.
Oh.
But yeah, if you did want to start looking for a general store, you can definitely find one, or at least a forge of sorts along the way.
Falcon, upon seeing a blacksmith, turns and says, "What if instead of a cloak, I got like more blacksmithing, like an apron or something?
But
Make me look."
Your armor is shiny.
Oh, you're right. I just really love making weapons. It's so good. But we do.
Loudly sighs at this. Go bury your face in soot or something.
Rashita's just like over by a pile of soot. She's like, come here, come on, let's just do this.
Falcon goes and proceeds to roll in soot with Rashida.
Well, Rashita's just like taking like whole piles of like soot and just like patting it in.
Throwing it. And I'm still wearing armor.
Anytime anybody hangs out with Tina, everybody gets covered in shit. It's like when her character rolled around in pancake batter.
Pancake batter, yep.
All of my
Bad
favorite
bread.
characters are so
Bad
eager to
influence.
get dirty.
Yep. It's half the fun of RPGs. You get to talk about making a mess, but then you don't ever actually have to clean it up.
Exactly.
So, okay. So yeah, I'll cover myself in that, but then I'll still look for a cloak.
Okay.
We agree that this place is not a spot where it'd be good to not be wearing armor. Is that correct?
I think so. That's about right.
Okay, then yeah, I suppose putting on a cloak would be fine. Just a bit cheap. I don't like buying clothes I don't want.
I mean, we could get like a linen or something.
No, if anything, I need it to be good and hearty so that I could use
Well,
it.
what about hemp? Hemp's pretty good and hearty.
What about leather?
You want a leather cloak?
You want to love it?
That's going to be a bit
Maybe.
pricey, I think.
Well, if I'm going to spend the money, it better be
That's
good.
going to be very expensive.
Where are these? I'm getting excited about cloaks now. I know I said I didn't want one. Let's go.
Oh, jeez. She throws another thing of soot on her and then walks away.
The soot from the forge just fills her with... What's that?
Nil just stares at Rashida and puts a hand on her soot-covered shoulder and says, Rashida, my love, you were dirty enough as it was to start. Don't worry. You'll fit in just fine.
Oh, no, I was trying to help her fit in. I don't care what I look like. I know I'm a mess.
You've quite a bit of soot. Quite a bit of soot.
Well, then I will
It
fit
will
in
look a
just
little
perfectly.
If our entire party is covered,
Are
I'll
you-
just dress you both up as chimney sweeps.
Well, I already look like one now.
Falcon, feeling much better to be covered in soot, turns and says, "Oh, that would be funny now, wouldn't it?" And she smiles again, like for the first time in a minute.
I mean, how much is a broom anyway? I wouldn't be too bad.
Dude, oh, and we can tell people I'm a chimney sweep that works in dragon-infested chimneys.
No, I think you're a bit bulky for
Actually, you
chimneys.
could pretend you were going home.
But what?
You would look like you were going home from a long day of work, I guess.
With my armor. No, let's just go find cloaks. It's fine.
Just in case.
Yes.
And then I can
Now-
get the broom.
And now
I
I'm
don't know.
stuck on the idea.
Let's not show it like your armor. Your armor is very nice. Somebody's going to want to steal that.
Oh, I hope they'd bloody try. I haven't caught anybody in a long time.
Everything's cutting in and out now.
No.
Ah!
Yeah. That was a bit of Sal.
I really appreciate.
You reminded me of the fish that's like the anchor man in SpongeBob.
Evil.
Yes.
He's dead!
Yes.
Oh, Mermaid Man.
Yes. Alright, so I take you guys are looking for a general store?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Alright, well, you eventually make your way to one. Actually, I can't remember. Did we go to one in the last session or no? I don't think we did.
Nil hid in one.
Okay, Nil hidden one. Okay, cool. Alright.
Sneaky Nil.
Anyway, you as you approach, give me one sec. Where'd I put it? There it is. All right. You see for the storefront, there's a sign with what looks to be a wooden carving of a crate, but it appears to be snapped in half. So it's like a plaque with like a crate painted on, but the crate is broken. And underneath is the words "the broken crate," for obvious reasons.
They're thinking out of the box.
Yes, I think they're thinking out of the crate.
Say hi to Trish. Hi.
Hi.
They just got back.
Hi.
We just got back. My best friend. I'm Christine. Okay, bye guys.
Bye.
Bye. Love you, Rob.
Oh, everybody's cutting in and out. I just see smiling Trish.
Trish said hi. Jody said
Shane,
hi.
are you there?
Hi.
Are you there?
My tiny dog pooped on the floor, so I'm a little late.
I'm sorry.
No.
How are you? Trish too. I say hi.
Hi,
Bye.
Hello.
Love you, honey.
I love you too.
I'm sorry that Gizmo pooed on the floor.
Let's get whatever.
Fair enough.
I'm so in and
Okay, no more people's in the room.
Okay.
out.
Jade's like so
Oh,
delayed.
Jade's so behind.
Oh
No more that you know about.
What?
no. Okay, so the broken crate.
Yes. The broken crate. So for all intents and purposes, it looks like your standard general store. You go in, but when you go inside, you notice it's a little bit darker lit than most. Like you can still see, but it's really dark in here.
Creepy.
I've got dark vision.
Same.
So can I do?
She runs into a shelf on accident.
Oh, I have dark vision.
Oh, I do too.
Okay, I
Oh
think
wow, the bard's the only one that doesn't
I
have
think
dark
it's
vision.
Ori doesn't have dark vision, but he's my familiar and he's in my breast. So.
He doesn't need to see where he is. Goodness.
So
Can I do like a off the bat? Do I see any stunning cloaks that catch my eye?
not right away. You see, it's mostly just arms and armor at first. And then various like side items like potions, bags of sorts, that sort of thing.
Any brooms?
Not in this area. You notice that it's more set up to be like, the average adventurer gear you'd expect to find is going to be in the front.
Okay. Actually, it
So.
wouldn't be bad to kind of look for some
we
things
just
in here.
officially become chimney sweepers.
Yes.
The game derails and we just try and sweep as many chimneys as possible.
Make
And the world
an
dies.
honest living.
Anyway,
What'd she say?
You cut out.
She died.
Yeah.
Jade.
Jade, no.
Cut out.
all right, I'm gonna leave for a second and come back.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna look at Well, would this shop kind of have like the majority of like all of the general items that could be found in the player's handbook?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
General goods.
Actually, can someone give me a perception check? Oh no, investigation check.
Interesting. One person, or can we all do it?
Any,
Okay.
to be honest.
Ooh, no. I got a 6.
Okay.
I got a 19.
Oh,
Okay.
let's go, Rashida.
Upon closer inspection, you find out that one of the swords, at first, while it looks like, it looks, well made and everything, you notice it's a bit worn. Almost as if it was second-hand. And as you watch, you start to pick up on certain other details and a lot of the accompanying gear that these items aren't necessarily fresh from the forge, fresh from the tanner, that sort of thing, but they're a little bit lesser than great quality.
So kind of like, in her head, kill him and take them gear and then sell it, kind of idea.
Kinda, yeah. Like, you can still kill someone with this, it's just not going to be as clean of a kill as, say, a well-made sword.
Probably not as clean of the kill when they got the items either.
Exactly.
Goodness.
Okay. Rashida sort of whispers the Valkyrie, attempting to be discreet, and says, just be careful what you buy in here.
Okay. Valkyrie is like absent-mindedly shuffling through, looking next. Her mind is now set on like a nice leather cloak.
Okay. Well, as you start to look, you hear a rustling from above. And as you look up, you notice there's a network of ropes and pulleys strung across the roof, and actually some of these ropes are attached to portions of the wall where there's more items. But these are kept more in storage because you see like some of them have netting over them to keep them from falling, that sort of thing.
Interesting.
And as you watch, a drow comes sailing by attached to one of these ropes.
Nope.
And she catches herself on one of the columns, looks down and goes, "Oh, good, customers, give me 1 second. I'll be down there in a sec."
Okay.
And she, as you watch, she skillfully navigates this network of ropes and pulleys, and then finally finds the particular rope that takes her to the counter and begins to climb down. And as you notice, she's not wearing any shoes of any sort. Her pants are actually rolled up all the way to her knees, mostly probably to help her get around up top. But either way, she drops down, holds up a finger, disappears behind the countertop, and you hear the sounds of something being kicked and pulled on, and then she comes out from behind the countertop, and she's wearing proper boots and everything.
Okay.
Claps her hands together, rubs them, and says, "Hi, I do apologize. I was performing some inventory, and you kind of caught me at a bad time. I should have closed up the store, but I was like, whatever. I'm Callisto. What can I do for you?"
My friend here is looking for a cloak.
A cloak? What kind of cloak you looking for exactly? I got a couple. They're not great, but they're cloaks. I mean, you can't really, get awesome stuff from cloaks. So.
Do you have any in leather, perhaps?
Why would you want a leather cloak?
No,
I'm just curious. I'm not saying we don't have them. I'm just curious.
I'm just thinking if it was good enough for an animal to wear, it's good enough for me to wear afterwards, isn't it?
What's that supposed to mean? And she folds her arms at this.
Leather was created to be a covering for some... It's skin. I don't know. I like the idea of wearing a second layer of skin.
Well, you're kind of weird.
I never said I wasn't.
I don't have the kind of leather cloak you're thinking of. I have leather tarps, but those don't really double as effective cloaks. Let me see if I can find you something. And as she says this, she disappears behind some of the shelves and reemerges with a rather tattered looking, but serviceable enough, usable enough cloak. and holds it wide for you and says, "How does this look?"
Well, I suppose it is a cloak.
Okay.
How much are you wanting for it?
For one of these, probably about like 5 silver.
I'll give you 3.
4.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, 4 it is. And she hands over the cloak.
Cool.
And then she turns to the rest of you, and then her eyes catch on Nil for like the briefest of moments, but it's not so much shock and surprise as it is recognition and acknowledgement. And then she resumes looking at the group. What's up?
I was about to ask, is she anyone I might recognize? Because I feel like the
No.
drow world is a small world. No? Okay.
No, you do not recognize her. Okay, actually, give me 1
Do I
second. I'll be right back.
notice that she, does Nil... Oh, okay.
All right.
What did I miss? Why did Rashida tell Falkrin, be careful what you buy at the shop? Because I missed that part.
Rashida noticed...
Well, my phone melted.
No, you're fine. Rashida noticed that a lot of the items in this store are kind of secondhand. And so, it's not things that would have come directly from the forge, and they're useful, but they're not gonna,
We drow our shift folk.
He probably sold to this one and didn't know it.
Yeah. I'm, trying to decide if I want to actually buy anything here, to be honest, because, part of me wants to get a explorer's pack and to have rope and shit, but then at the same time, that's, way too much shit for me to carry right now, especially if we're not really leaving town yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I have any rope. Yeah,
Falkrin goes ahead and puts on the cloak.
Okay. As you all, hover around and do things, she starts rocking on her heels expectantly. It's like, so are you going to buy anything else? Can I go back to my inventory? You got something you might want to sell? Or are you looking for information, something?
Do you know how to get to the crab warren?
Oh,
Just kind of
yes. Yes, I do. And then she goes behind the counter again, pulls out a map, and then unfurls it and flattens it out on the table, and then gets a quill and then starts pointing out stuff and actually shows you a direction on how to get there from this store specifically.
Oh, cool.
Appreciate that.
That's very helpful. Do you know much about it?
Aside from the fact that it was originally built as part of the way of building the docks as they are now, and that pretty much they were just left over and people just moved in there if they can't afford to live anywhere else. And that's usually a den for more unsavory folk. Not much. In fact, all the warrens are dens for unsavory folk, but whatever. Can't really judge when, you're a drow.
I mean, I get that. I definitely can understand that sentiment.
What do you consider unsavory?
You see, she wants to find the right words to say this, but she's kind of hesitant, considering there's 4 of you and 1 of her right now. Let's just say it's the people you don't want to be caught in an alley with alone.
Murderers and
understand
thieves.
that.
Yeah, murderers and thieves works.
Would you recommend we go in there prepared, then?
I mean, if you want, yes, I definitely recommend it. Most people don't go there anyway unless either A, they're looking for something, or they have no choice.
We were just curious. We'd heard about it down at the docks, and it sounded like a really strange name. I've never really heard of a warren. They don't really call them that where we're from, so it's just kind of interesting. What is a crab warren? Sounds like a crab that's at war,
Well,
no, a warren is a rabbit's dwelling, so it's a dwelling.
Yeah.
For...
It's a dwelling of sorts.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't have an extensive forestry knowledge. I don't spend a lot of time playing with bunnies.
Well, I mean,
Perhaps that's why you're so grumpy.
hey, come on now. There's no
I'm
way to talk to
more,
him.
much less grumpy now than I was earlier.
But do we need to get you more alcohol?
You got any alcohol for this one?
I mean, I have a couple bottles of something. It's not the greatest, but like you'd have better options getting something from the broken ore or something. But here's what I have. She just pulled out 4 bottles. This is a sample of what I have. If you want to try some, that's on you. I recommend the red label. And she points to a rather clean-looking bottle with like a very fancy script to it and writing and everything. But the biggest key component is it's got this gigantic red symbol on it. It's not anything significant other than, hey, we made this wine.
Right. I was going to ask you a question. So with Constitution, since Nil only has +1, but given the fact that she is a heavy drinker, and usually alcoholics build up a tolerance over time, on Constitution checks that have to do with like alcohol consumption, could Nil have advantage or like an additional plus on just Constitution for alcohol?
I'd say I'd give you an advantage. It's more a random chance that way.
Yeah, because I mean, she's been drinking a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, you can roll with advantage whenever I ask for a Constitution check.
Okay. All the samples free, because you know some places I've gone to, they tell you, oh, it's a sample, and then you sample it, and they go, oh, now you owe me like 10 gold, and it's like, but that was shite.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you can go ahead and try some if you like. I'm not going to charge you for it. That's a really bad move, to be honest. I'm trying to maintain a business here, not scare away potential customers.
I do so appreciate that. You know, drow in business, they just don't get enough credit.
Yeah, we don't. Everyone likes to say, ooh, it's the drow. Careful, they might drag you to the Underdark or something. I'm like, no, not every single drow does that, okay? Some of us actually like people.
The Underdark is not for everybody. You don't take everybody.
No, it's not.
I mean,
the sun's not that bad once you get used to it. I mean, it still hurts, but hey,
you know,
you find ways to adapt.
A cloak can't fix even a tattered one. It doesn't stop.
And she looks at Falcon's cloak and nods approvingly.
Falcon does a little flourish with it.
Oh.
Jokingly, not like, but like.
As you all are conversing, someone give me a perception check.
Oh my god, really again?
Ooh, I got a, what is that, a 20? 22.
22.
I got a 12.
Okay, you notice Akima has gone missing.
Oh god damn it.
Akima?
Akima tries to steal the food and takes the knives. And...
Akima, are you in here still?
No words, nothing. No response.
Well, that's not good.
Nil doesn't notice because she's sampling the alcohol.
I mean, Rashida only rolled a 20, so if Falcon doesn't see her and she's not responding, then there's probably no sense of really... There's just no...
I tell you what, I'll give you a chance to re-roll that as an investigation.
Okay.
I just wanted someone to catch it, but if you're looking to, I'll let you re-roll for an investigation.
Alright. It's a 16.
While you do notice she's completely gone, you notice that her hat is sitting on the ground right now.
Rashida goes down to pick it up and sort of shows Falcon and goes, would she have left this without, I feel like she wouldn't have left this.
I don't think so. It's a bit of her get up, innit?
I think so. Is there any way for me to, like, see if, like, any drag marks by any chance?
You do notice that the brim itself is a little dusty, mostly from when it fell on the ground. But with that 16, you also notice part of it is slightly bent, as if it was done on accident.
So either she's stumbling around and doesn't know what she's doing, or somebody may have kidnapped her.
As you watch, Callisto starts wringing her hands nervously. And she's like, I don't like this. Somebody got kidnapped right in front of my store. I mean, it's been happening a lot lately, but I just...
It's been happening a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You guys must be new here, aren't you?
We just got off a boat, yes.
I haven't been kidnapped yet.
Okay, and in that case, this is free, because this is something you need to worry about. So, the city does have its share of thieves, burglars, mercenaries, that sort of thing, but they mostly stay to the Warrens. But a couple months ago, this group that has called themselves the Ironbeards moved in to the Lobster Warren, and they've been pretty much running amok in the city. Like, it's gotten so bad that not only do they, as you've just seen, kidnap people straight off the street, but now the Queen's having a hard time trying to keep the populace in line because they're getting angry that, the Ironbeards have pretty much had free reign of the city while the, city guard attempts to stop them but can't.
You say Ironbeards. These aren't some sort of dwarf, are they?
As far as I know, no, they're not. They
Darker?
just chose a flashy name,
They're just like beards.
I guess.
I mean, who
don't know. I've
doesn't?
never seen them.
But
Rashida's gonna look outside immediately. I mean, like, Akima's the first person she encountered,
Oh, yeah.
so, like, she's got some kind of attachment to this lady.
Bill's
I
not.
don't really see anything. Like, it's like, like a couple people look like, something just happened, but this is like the final 5 seconds where it's just like, oh, that's upsetting. Let me carry on with my day type reaction.
If they've seen something, I'm going. If they're acting like they saw something, then she's gonna go over and attempt to ask.
it's
Okay.
broad daylight, isn't it?
It is.
Excuse me. You seem like you've seen something. Have you seen something recently?
The person you approach is a man, and he looks to be in his late 50s, and at first he gives you a weird look, because he's just never seen somebody, as dirty as you are before. and then he catches himself, and then he goes, sorry about that. Yeah, I mean, I kind of did see someone get taken.
Where'd you choose? Where, do you any idea where they went?
No, unfortunately, because there was 3 of them. 2 of them grabbed her, although one tried to grab her head and accidentally knocked that fancy hat off that she was wearing. But yeah, they grabbed her, and then they took her off. And then the 3rd one, pretty much brandished a knife at everyone, saying, "Hey, don't say anything." And just over quick, and I kind of feel sorry for her. Hope somebody finds her real soon.
Rashida's gonna look on the... Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Because if them Ironbeards got a hold of her, well, there's not much that can be done after that. Either they kill her, ransom her off, or B, force her into slavery. Not a great thing.
Okay, I very appreciate your talk, and
Yeah.
for giving me that information. I have to go try and find her. Thank you so much.
Hey, no problem. Stay safe, friend. And he scrambles off.
Are there any tracks?
Running off?
No, he runs off. Because he just wants to get out of there.
Is Rashida just running off?
Rashida's looking for tracks at this
Just out in
point.
the street.
Unfortunately, there aren't many.
Okay.
Because it's still a pretty high traffic area.
Yeah, that's true.
Any tracks or anything, more than likely has been, completely erased by foot traffic.
Precisely. Okay, Rashida's gonna go back into the general store and sort of relay this information. 3 guys took her, possibly Ironbeards. We need to find her.
The mill turns to the drow and she's decides to do some info finding and says, you said lots of people have disappeared. Is there anything that they all have in common? Like any are they all
Not really. I mean, they just grabbed people off the street, like, random people.
They're not like all one specific race or from the wealthy class or
No, they just grab random people.
It sounds like
It's
an
weird.
organization that is just taking people, whoever they can.
Pretty
No.
much.
Did you say that they stay in the Lobster Warren?
They do.
Is that near the
they-
club?
She looks at the map. Yeah.
do you know much about the
Actually,
lobster?
hang on. She spins the map around, takes a look at it, and goes, "Yeah, you got the crab warren here." She points to the one that's closest to the ocean. Then you've got the prawn warren here, the lobster one. She just goes off and names them all after various shellfish. She goes, "Yeah, they're all there."
Do you know anywhere where I could procure, and this is just a random question, some very nice weapons or And this is just for curiosity's sake.
Listen. You know, it's not going to hurt my feelings if you want to go shop elsewhere. I know my stuff is secondhand. Some of it I still have yet to clean the bloodstains off of. It's kind of...
Well, even if it's secondhand, do you have some... I mean, hey, I've gotten some pretty nice weapons secondhand.
Oh, hey, if you got any, I'm willing to take them off your hands if you want.
I mean, I do like the ones I have so far, but do you have any that would be like, you know, some pretty good ones, drow to drow?
Let's see. She gives you a look over. How are your daggers faring?
I mean, they're pretty good. You can never say no to a better dagger, though.
Okay, give me 1 second. She disappears behind the counter again, unlocks the door behind the counter, goes in there and disappears for a good 5 minutes, and then comes out with a small case. It's not exactly significant, so there's nothing really eye-catching except for maybe like some copper fastenings that have, of course, turned blue because of exposure to the seawater in the air, but, you know. She opens it, and inside there is a very elegant-looking dagger that, while it looks like it's great for thrusting, if you want, you can go ahead and pick it up if you'd like, just to examine it.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to investigate it.
Okay, as you pick it up, you notice it's quite light, even though it looks like it's a good dagger to stab with. It also feels very light.
Interesting.
Yeah, I got this one from a trader from Ravia. They're really good weaponsmiths out there. Their blades are actually one of the sharpest, and their weapons some of the lightest in the land. That's why they're so good at fighting.
I have some experience in Ravia.
Really?
They have some very nice weapons there. How much would you be willing to part with this one for?
Well, I mean, I was going to charge about maybe like 10 gold for it, but for you, I can drop it down to 5.
You're a good drow. You know that? You're very good drow.
Thank you.
More business people should be like you. You know, normally, I wouldn't even pay for my weapons, but because you're such a good drow business owner, I want to pay you 5 gold for this.
I thank you. Well, I'm just here trying to break the stereotype that we're all a bunch of, scary elves that live in the dark.
You know, we're not all killers, as she takes the dagger. Not all of us.
Would you be? I mean, I think I actually have something that I would like to request of you if you have it.
Sure.
Do you have a crossbow? Like a light crossbow?
I might have one. Let me go see. She disappears behind the shelf and shelves of swords and armor and comes back with light crossbow. Like everything else, it looks a little worn, a little secondhand, but it still looks like it can do business.
Perfect. I think I'd like to purchase this. 20 arrows in the case for those arrows as well.
Okay, give me a second. I actually need to look that up, how much that's going to cost.
It's 25 for the crossbow, I believe 20 gold for the arrows, and then and 1 gold for the case.
Yeah, okay, yeah. She gathers all of that and hands them over and then collects your gold.
Perfect. She hands it over. That was 46 gold.
Okay.
Can you send me stats on the dagger when you get a chance?
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited about my second-hand dagger. There's nothing wrong with getting weapons second-hand.
Yeah.
Sometimes best weapons come second-hand.
They're ethically sourced.
Yeah. And straight from that man's hands.
And we can have a scholars. Oh, wait, yes. Wait, no. I don't have the gold for that. Never mind.
What do you need?
A scholars pack.
I actually don't think I have one of those. If you did want to go get one, I know where, and I kind of hate myself for saying this because it's me basically plugging my competition, but the Dragon's Hoard actually has a lot of high quality gear and items, and they have a bit more selection than I do, so you might be able to find a scholar's pack over there.
Okay, I'll consider it, but it might be a later time.
Yeah.
Did they have any poisons?
I don't think they do. They don't really specialize in that, but I do know someone who might. If you want, I can have them gathered for you.
I would be very, very interested if you do. You know, I'm a student of poisonous biology, and I just believe you can never learn enough, you know?
Yeah. Okay. What kind of poisons would you like?
I am most interested, you know, for research sake, poisons that are mostly undetectable and unscented, you know, that you can necessarily taste, specifically for research, of course.
Obviously.
And, you know, anything that can do the job quickly, but it doesn't have to be painless, you know. I don't really mind there, but more the undetected poisons that you could slip in quite easily.
Okay, I think I might be able to scrounge that up for you.
Don't
Don't worry about the pricing for now. We can always discuss that later once they've been made. Besides, I've been meaning to collect some more poisons for my own stock.
You know, research is an important thing, you know.
Yeah. Well, the best of luck for you guys finding your friend.
We do appreciate that, thank you.
But I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave because I do need to close up and finish this inventory. It's not going to finish itself.
That's all right.
Thank you for your business, though.
Thank you.
How should I contact you about the poisons?
I mean, I'll be opening back up a day from now, so come find me midday tomorrow. I should be up and running again.
We'll see you then. Thank you for all your help.
Thank you.
No problem. You guys, good luck out there.
Thank you.
Alright, so now, would you like to get some more gear before we go to... I'd say it might be good to go to the Crab Warren. There might be some more people, because it's an unsavory area, who know a little bit more about the Lobster Warren. Or we can just go straight to the Lobster Warren.
I think we need to probably investigate a little more before we just dive in. It will help Kima and me.
I would agree. I mean, Akima's got a lot of nice stuff on her. They're probably not going to kill her right away. They're going to want to know where she's gotten her things.
Yes.
Perhaps they might try and ransom her if they can, like, figure out who would want to pay for her.
We don't know much about her. That is true.
I mean, she's a bard. She has talents of that kind, so I'm sure they want to probably auction her off of some kind.
Perhaps.
Her musical talent's probably not what they're interested in, but I do agree.
Fair.
So,
But, yeah.
do you guys need more materials or more...
No, I've got the bow for shooting. I think I'm good.
I think I'm good as well. So we want to go to the Crab Warren, and hopefully they'll tell us more about the Lobster Warren. Or maybe just kind of talk to the sketchy folks and find out more about the criminal underbelly of this place.
You know, you don't have to say it with a sneer on your face.
I was trying to, no, I meant,
Traditional lifestyle.
I didn't mean that. I was trying to use the lingo. I'm sorry.
They don't use that lingo. They don't call themselves the criminal underbelly.
I've just read the picture books. I don't know how this works.
Picture books and the criminals.
Perhaps.
Yes, when they're fighting the good. What?
Perhaps, Neil, we could, or at least Spalkrin could use your assistance in lingo.
I don't need to learn to speak from nil. I'll pick it up.
You? Excuse you, I'm very well spoken, and I have gone and dined with the highest nobles in this land.
Were they on the cocaine that you like so much? Is that the kind of high they were?
Don't do cocaine. I drink. There's a very big difference between a drug addict and an alcoholic. Get your addiction straight.
Oh, okay. See, I'm getting my street smarts as we go. Let's just go. Go ahead and figure out where we're going, and I'll shut up and follow.
Let's go to the Crab Warren, and please, for the love of your gods, do not show them your pamphlets, Rashida, and do not talk
I have
about...
no intention. If I'm going to shoot them with crossbows, I have no intention of giving them a pamphlet.
Don't act like you're going to shoot them when we go in, though. Let's just act like you belong there.
I'm going to ask them all about their
I
underbellies.
know how to handle myself in this nonsense.
I now feel how you all felt when you had to take Sap to a party.
Oh, God, yes. Yes.
I feel like this is payback.
Do not, no, put it, what's in your mouth? Drop it.
There won't be a blood orgy.
Spit it out.
All right, so let's go and just walk in with all the confidence in the world and act like you totally belong there.
Falcon nods.
Do you need some liquid courage? It does help.
Rashida just kind of like rubs the bridge of her nose and goes, "No, I don't." And as she does, the soot smears across her face.
Oh, there we go. I mean, you definitely spin.
Falcon pulls out her own beer and takes a swig, while making angry eyes at Nil, but quietly.
Nil just kind of nods and says, "All right, well, let's get on to the seedy underbelly." And makes the face at Falcon and leads the way towards the crab warren, her cloak up, so the sun doesn't burn her trousers.
Sauntering more.
Jesus.
Drunkenly sauntering.
The trip to the crab warren goes pretty uneventfully. It's just you're just going down to the docks again. As you reach the access to the warrens, you see that the docks themselves, something you didn't quite see before, but they pretty much stick up a good distance out of the water line. And you take the stairs down to the warren, you start to see, this is where the actual land used to be, because you'll see some of the inlets into the actual warren mostly have pools of water from the actual sea, so you got pretty much like a small wave pool forming in certain parts, but other parts, it's just land, it's dirt, rocks, that sort of thing. Also, you do notice that there are hallways cut into the actual land. At first, everything seems to be organized as you actually enter the warren. As you go farther in, you start to see where people just decided to cut into the rock and just didn't even really care about where things went. They just dug holes and went from there. So, but it is very well lit, surprisingly. And Nil, give me a wisdom check.
Oh, fuck. I don't think this was very wise. Oh!
What'd you get?
20.
You got 20? Okay, cool.
Hell yeah.
All right. Your former past reminds you as you enter the crab warren and start to see things that look familiar that you should probably consult that note again.
Okay.
Just in case. Something in the back of your mind is like poking you to take up the letter and take a look at it one more time.
Okay, so Nil kind of stops and motions for Falcon and Rashida to just stop and says, I just want to check one thing really quick before we go further. And she pulls out the note to double check it one more time.
Okay. Give me an investigation check, please.
Wasted my nat 20.
All right.
That's okay. All right. What's my bonus on this? 12.
Okay. So as you look the letter over, you see the obvious message saying, "Come to the crab warrens," blah, blah, blah. And you turn it around, and on the back, you do notice that at first it wasn't obvious, but your trained eyes start to notice that there are certain sigils that if you shine it up to the light a certain way, they stick out. And with your thieves' cant, it translated into basically saying, "Follow every third torch, and you will find us."
Ah, that's cool. Okay. So then Nil stuffs the pocket back in, or stuffs the note back in her pocket, and kind of looks around at the torches and turns to the others and says, "We have to follow every third torch to find where we need to go."
All right. Well, let's do it.
Okay,
All right.
follow the torch. Lead the way.
Every third torch, and she just kind of goes forward once more, still cautiously. Neil's sauntering, following every third torch.
Rashida's making sure she's kind of staying alert as much as possible.
Falcon is following kind of like just a kid in line at school. She's not paying super close attention, but it's just every now and then an almost audible eye roll.
Nilla's being very cautious.
I gotcha. Well, as you follow the torches, they take you down several side paths, several tunnels that seem to lead off into nowhere, until finally you stand outside of a door with a single eye painted on top, or painted on it.
Is that a symbol that I might notice or recognize?
Yes, you do.
Oh. How do I recognize it?
Oh,
I will PM it to you.
Jake's just like, no. No, my past.
The reason she drinks. Yeah.
The reason she sleeps with a bottle.
Okay.
Oh my
Nil
god.
can sleep with whatever she wants to sleep with.
I'm
Oh
not.
my.
The prerogative.
I'm
yeah.
not saying she can't. I'm just saying there's reasons she does.
Oh my.
She has not made her choices randomly.
Like Kahame, Nil is on purpose always.
Always.
I
Yes.
like it.
On purpose, always.
By the way, just saying this, I think, and I don't know 100%, but I think Jody and Trish got me a thing that allows me to make T-shirts for my birthday.
Oh.
Check
I
something.
think it's what it is. It's in the box, but I can't say for sure. So we'll see.
Nice.
I know.
Let me check something really quick.
Okay.
That fucking me, where's everything?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
a
what did the damn
constant
place?
life question. Especially in my office. Jody had to clean it actually recently. She's just like, I don't know where you find things in here, and I'm like, I don't know either.
The thing is, I don't.
Exactly.
I don't.
Where's that knife I
random
needed?
and nothing means
It's
anything.
buried.
Guess it's time to buy a new one.
Yeah. I mean, I probably have like 5 of them in here because I couldn't
Yeah.
find them.
Honestly.
Let's see if I can open it with a different program.
You're a different
Different.
program.
I
Ooh.
accept that.
Got
I
him.
totally accept that. Lucky Duck, where are you?
No thanks.
There we go. That's what I want to use. I told you I want to. Fuck the.
Stop it, Jade.
Scandalous. Ooh.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh.
Oh.
Check something, please open. Come on, work, you stupid piece of shit.
I mean, I know I am, but what are you?
Oh, Tina.
Alright, let's see if this works. Why does nothing want to open? Ah. Everything sucks. Of course this
Everything is stupid.
I hate everyone.
That song is my life. I listen to that at least once a week.
I remember one day, like after working at UPS, I just had that blasting with my windows down.
It's my favorite song. It is the song that speaks the most to me of all the songs.
I only know it because of you, Jade.
Yep, same.
I'm so pleased that if I could share nothing with you guys, this is what I've shared with you.
Oh, random side note, but on that topic, I was listening to like a pop punk playlist and I heard the song Girl at the Rock Show and they're talking about how they're like looking forward to Warped Tour and I just picture like teenage Jade just jamming the entire song. I cannot hear that song without picturing like Jade trying to meet all of her cool bands.
You know what's actually really sad is I went to Warped Tour every single year until I moved to Russia from the time I was 12 on.
Mm-hmm.
And I, in middle school, loved Blink-182 so much that every single person in my yearbook wrote Blink-182 rocks.
That's great. That's perfect.
Okay, I think this is finally working. Give me a second. Yeah, I rocked out hard to some Blink-182. I actually had all of their books for bass tabs and knew like all of their songs.
Oh, very nice.
I learned how to play the bass because I loved Mark Hoppus. All of this sounds so bad. It's so lame.
No, I think that's cool.
My family hates. Okay. Oh, okay. That's what I thought. I just wanted to double check. Because Darmok is my place. Okay, I would double check something with you, Kyle, and Dia in the message.
Alright, are you guys ready to open the door?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sending you. I'm sending you a message. Damn it! Fucking God!
Fuck.
Nothing in my life wants to work.
It'll be fine. Hang in there, friends.
Damn you!
Oh my. Okay. Holy
There
shit,
we go.
I sent to you 10 times. All right, it's a short message, but it's.
That is a lot of messages.
It's just nothing works.
Do I need to get you a new computer, Jade? Do I just need to like? Do I just need to send you one of mine?
I have a new computer. I just bought it.
Then why doesn't that work?
For my graduation, but the network card keeps shitting out, and it's a piece of shit network card, and I have uninstalled a network driver like 15 times. I have set up restore points. I have done recovery. I've done everything. I've reached into the bowels of hell and dragged this computer's soul back, and it's still.
Now, is this a laptop or a desktop?
It's a laptop.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
HP,
I mean, you could just bring it into You Break I Fix and we could tell you what's wrong with it. Shameless plug for my workplace. I mean, we do free diagnostics on all electronic devices, so we could probably pinpoint what's wrong with it and go from there.
Yeah, I know what's wrong with it because you even keep saying it's it's one of the network drivers, and I even know which one it is. It's the Realtek network driver.
Mm-hmm.
Keeps crashing.
Oof. I mean, you can always get yourself a USB wireless card.
Bro.
So.
I've debated that. We have a couple at work, and I have debated that, and I think I might just have to because it's easier than having to get someone to take it apart and get a new network card. It's easier to get a USB, which I had a moment of victory where I was like, I think I fixed it, and then it stopped again, and now the restore points don't work. So this is Jade's life. Anyway, so it's just like a generic symbol, though, right?
Yeah, it's like the Thieves Guild from Skyrim, where if you find that symbol, boom, it's a secret stash or something. Yeah.
Okay.
So this eye is basically their calling card.
So Nil feels it's right to warn Falcon and Rashida.
Yes.
But Nil has some misgivings. And she takes the bottle of alcohol, one of the bottles that Rashida had given her earlier, and just kind of takes a quick swig, puts the cap back on and wipes her mouth and turns to the two and says, so this is a Thieves Guild. and we're going to go in, and every single person in here, I need you to know, is a thief in some way. They're assassins, they're thieves, they steal. So just keep an eye on your things. Don't reveal anything you need not reveal. Maybe don't speak if you don't have to. And Rashida, keep your little booby dragon hidden, because they're probably going to want to take that. Or they will have a lot of questions.
Sounds like a plan.
Because, are you ready?
Let's do this.
Alright, so we're going to go through the door.
Okay, it opens surprisingly. And on the other side, you see 3 figures. A human male, a half-orc female, and oddly enough, a dragonborn. If you want, either Rashida or Nil, give me a history check.
I can do that.
Alright.
No, I can't.
Oh,
Ooh, I might be able to. What's my 15.
15,
Pamphlet
okay.
check.
Pamphlet check, Jesus.
I got a 5, so that's as good as I can
Okay.
get.
Nil, from what you remember, this has to do with the legends of old, specifically surrounding the Sundering. But as a result of the Sundering, the dragons are non-existent in Angamar, and the entire continent used to be full of them. And I'm not just talking dragon either. I'm talking draconic in general, so kobolds, dragonborn themselves, everything in between. There used to be a heavy population of them in Angamar before the Sundering. And then as a result, if you managed to find one, like a dragonborn or a kobold or a dragon even, it was a very rare and momentous occasion.
Ah.
In fact, let me see if I can find, is this it? Yes, this is it. These are, oh no, this is the campaign story. I need my campaign notes. I need my notes.
Go get your notes.
My notes. Where is it? Hell's the world such? Maybe it's in here. I think it's in here.
You've got this.
All right. Okay. Yes. Okay, that's just locations. Maybe it's in my note. Where did I put it? There it is. Be right back. Let me go grab that.
Okay.
Okay, well, while you do that, I'm going to go sharpen my pencil, and I will be right back.
I'm also going to grab a snack. So then I'll be right back.
Everyone's leaving, then I will be right back.
What happens when my ADHD kicks in and I just put shit all over the place?
That's fine.
All right, are we all back?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Nil, from what you remember, the Dragonborn themselves are extremely rare to find here in Angamar. If you do encounter one, usually they're like, high up in society, mostly because, again, they're a very rare people in this land. So you usually see them as court advisors or magicians or sometimes even mages attached to the royal family of sorts, or an advisor, but not really amongst the common folk. So to see one here now and a thief is just is very unusual.
Neil kind of blinks and tries to think, how much alcohol have I consumed today? And does a mental check, not enough to bring on visions again. And she just kind of, does she recognize any of the 3?
No, she does not.
So she just kind of, she's kind of surprised. I feel like it doesn't take a lot to shock Nil or throw her off a game, but seeing a Dragonborn in a Thieves Guild is kind of stunningly surprising to her.
Mm-hmm.
And she just kind of takes a second to process what she's seeing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Either way, the half-orc looks at all of you and snickers, and then she bends down and elbows the human next to her and goes, "See, I told you they were going to get here one way or another." And the human just gives her a look and sighs and says, "You'll have to forgive me, friends. Anita here is very competitive when it comes to trying to win the favor of the Grey Dragon. One, thank you for finding us. In fact, actually, I had a good feeling that spying on you when you first arrived would pay out in the end, and I think it will. I do apologize for the rather clandestine way that we brought you here. We could have done this a lot smoother, but times are desperate. If you hold all of your questions for later, the Grey Dragon requested that the second you arrive, you are to see them immediately. I am to take you to them. My name is Carl. Please follow me.
There's just kind of a nod, like Mill just kind of is still just very surprised, studying the Dragonborn very carefully, trying to
And as you do this, the Dragonborn gives you the same amount of scrutiny and goes, listen, I really don't like being stared at, so if you don't mind, follow Carl, or I'm going to turn you into an icicle. It's your choice.
No icicles here, please. Let's go. Come on. She says she pushes her.
And as Carl escorts your group along the way, you get the distinct presence that the Dragonborn is following you, just in case. So, he takes you...
I don't look back. I don't want to risk staring at him again.
So, Carl leads you through another series of tunnels, but these are actually a lot shorter than the ones that brought you here in the first place. And as you exit the last of the tunnels, you enter a very well-lit main area. It's pretty, it's like, how do I describe it? It's like bigger than your average basement. Not like tiny, but like, it's got it's like the Ragged Flagon from Skyrim, just not huge with a gigantic pool in the middle. I always found that weird that the access to get to the actual bars, you had to either go through the water or go around the perimeter, which I thought was stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it's about that size. And as you notice, there's a short hall leading off to a separate area, but every so often you can see someone being sent flying through the air.
Oh!
And sounds of grunting coming from that way. But Carl, go ahead. Carl leads you past all this and up to the back of the chamber, which leads to a raised, I'm going to butcher this word horribly, but raised dais. And you see a couple more thieves dressed in, leathers, knives, that sort of thing. They at first move to block your passage, but then they see Carl and step aside. And they part and reveal, give me 1 second.
At least his name's not Kale.
You're never going to let me live that one down, are you?
Never.
All right.
Oof.
I mean, it is better than
Anyway.
landing in silent thinkers.
Oh, God. Anyway, they part to reveal a cloaked figure, a cloaked female, actually, and actually a female Angamar.
Oh.
And she's just lounging on a chase lounge, just, chilling.
Mood.
And then looks up and goes, "Oh, well, our guests have finally arrived. Good. Please take a seat." And she swings her arm in a circle and indicates that there are more, chairs and a sofa in the same area as she is.
Rashida complies so as to not to, cause any kind of conflict.
Falcon obediently and silently does as she's told.
Can I do like a quick, just like look around the room, just like a cursory,
Sure.
like investigative glance?
Sure.
One. So I just got like a 13 on.
Okay. I mean, you didn't really need a high DC anyway. But this chamber is stocked full of crates, what appear to be bundled weapons. Occasionally in some areas you'll see food stores. You do notice that there is some fresh produce down here, a couple kegs of ale in the back. It's mostly this area not only doubles as a main meeting area, but a storeroom of sorts. So either way, it is literally packed to the brim with thieves, or at least, as many as you can see. So you're kind of in the lion's den right now.
So
So
Is there
And a lot of them are gathering to watch.
Well, Nil, knowing just how wrong things can go in a thieves guild, finds a seat and kind of just quietly takes a seat.
Okay, the Asamar at this point is drinking from a goblet, and she sets it down and then sits upright and goes, "So, I'm glad," and she looks at Nil, "I'm really glad you decided to heed my letter. I really am. Because that allows me to no longer have a need for this." And she snaps her fingers, and as you listen, there are sounds of struggling, and two thieves emerge, as well as Akima, currently, held between them. Asamar looks at the three of you and nods to her and says, "This one was particularly troublesome when we finally managed to get her out of the sunlight. I don't know why, but apparently we got the drop on her, and I guess she just wanted to play along, but the second we were out of broad daylight, she decided to start kicking people in the nuts, and I wasn't exactly happy with 5 of my men," she says this, glaring at Akima, "ending up in the infirmary because you kicked them in the groin. Stop that, please." You notice Akima is gagged and really can't say anything, but either way, she is sat down right next to the Asamar, who then looks at you all and goes, "You know what? I think I've added a little extra tension to the room. I think it's time I reduce that tension. Are you all thirsty?
No, thank you.
Are you sure? I have something that'll definitely put some pep to your step." And she claps her hands and calls, "Gronky, get in here and bring that funny contraption you have." And at first you hear nothing. Everything's quiet, and you hear this really weird clanking noise followed by banging. And as you watch from a side tunnel, or at least the tunnel that's closest to the dais, a bronze sphere sitting on top of an iron drum of sorts is being wheeled out. Now, the thing that makes it unusual about the sphere is it's got a network of pipes and spouts coming from it. And there's all sorts of knobs, a lever here and there, a little ring that encircles the sphere that has like a bunch of tools attached to it and everything. And at first it looks like it's being propelled on its own, until finally it stops at the bottom of the stairs, and you see that it wasn't being propelled on its own, it was actually being driven by a gnome, who is currently basically riding what is essentially a tricycle. And the even more bizarre thing is that this sphere is so huge, so immense, and so heavy looking that you have to do a double take to see someone of this gnome size actually pushing it, as though it was nothing. But then as you look, you see that the tricycle that he was riding on actually has a series of gears that basically allow him to push it with the same strength of possibly a half-orc or somebody taller than him. And he hops down, and he's dressed in a blacksmith's apron, and he's got leather gloves on, fingerless leather gloves. He's got a pair of goggles that are pushed up high on his cap that he's wearing, and he's got a pair of glasses attached to a piece of rope around his neck. He puts them on, and the weird thing about the glasses is they have this series of lenses that look like they can be flipped down in front of one of them. In front of one of the actual main lenses, and he hops up to the dais and goes, "Yeah, what you want?" And the Asamar looks at him and goes, "Yeah, I'd like some more of that hot morning brown potion you made earlier today." And he goes, "Okay, how much am I making right now?" "Oh, wait, never mind, I can count too. It's the 3 of you, the one who won't stop kicking people in the nuts, and then the gray dragon here, okay." And he starts counting on his fingers. I guess it's 5. It'll take a bit because I only got 3 spigots, but okay, give me a second. Yeah, hops back down. As you watch, he opens up the drum on the bottom of the sphere, and you notice that there are coals inside, glowing coals, but it doesn't look like there's a fire. And then he pulls a rod off of that metal ring that's encircling the bronze sphere. And if anyone wants to, give me a perception check.
18 plus 2.
Okay.
I got
3.
an 11.
3.
Okay.
Sorry.
I got 16 plus 2, so that's 18.
Okay, Nil and Rashida, you see that this rod is covered in runes of a sort. They don't look familiar. You just know that they look like magic sigils. And as you watch, he pokes the rod on the coals, and the rod glows orange for several seconds, and then a fire starts within the chamber that the coals are in. And he pokes it some more, and fire starts to grow a bit. And once he's satisfied with the size, he closes the door on this drum thing. And then as you watch, one of the tubes that's coming off of the sphere starts belching out black smoke. And it looks as though the smoke is going to start filling the chamber until it seems to dissipate when it hits a field of purples, gold, and blue. A sort of magical force field that's evaporating the black smoke into nothingness. And so, he finishes messing with the drum, checks a gauge on the top half of the drum, nods, clambers up top, and then you see him take a cylinder that normally looks like it's, welded or fused to the actual sphere, but it actually, was able to be removed quite easily. He opens it and then pulls from his belt a bag with a bunch of brown beans that he throws into the cylinder, and he ties up the bag, puts it back on his belt, and takes the cylinder and starts grinding. Grinds and grinds and grinds, and then he opens it and then looks inside, nods approvingly, and then takes the cylinder, heads to what looks to be an access port on this bronze sphere, and chucks the powder in. Closes the access, puts the canister back, and then he turns a few knobs and pulls a lever, and this thing is making the worst possible noise ever. It is banging. It is clanging every so often. It makes gurgling noise. It's just horrible to listen to. But he doesn't seem to bother him or anyone else surrounding him. So he continues his work.
He himself further into Rashida's shirt.
Oh, God. And so Gronky is still climbing all over this thing. He's twisting knobs. He's pulling levers again. And as you watch, pulls a final lever, and the tubes that lead to the spigots up top shake as if something's being forced through them. And then he just turns each of the knobs on the 3 spigots, and on further inspection, you see that there are 3 cups already there. And each of the spigots start producing this brown, steaming liquid. And it's coffee, yes. And he closes off each of the spigots, puts each of the cups down on the table in front of the Angamar, and then fills 2 more, puts down the 2 cups to make up 5, grabs another small cylinder as well as a container that had been attached to the sphere, but like the other one that he ground with, easily removed. Puts them down right next to the cups and goes, all right, there you go. I got a couple of spoons if you want sugar and milk and everything, but yeah, have some hot morning brown potion, even though it's afternoon. I honestly don't know why you would drink this right now, but whatever. Angamar nods appreciatively, picks up her cup, spoons some sugar in and mixes in some milk, and then nods, blows the steam off the top, takes a sip, and then gets the most relaxed look on her face, and then makes a shoo motion with her hands to Gronky, who was more than happy to oblige. He'd rather, get back to tinkering and everything, but whatever. So he starts shutting down the sphere, and it starts making less and less noise until it finally dies off, and then he wheels it back out of sight.
We lost Pam for a good portion of that, so just to keep bring her up to speed. I think her internet went out. So essentially, go ahead.
You're back, Pam?
I'm on my phone now, so
Okay.
good.
Welcome to the club.
Maybe.
All right. So what did you miss exactly?
The last thing I remember was the magical force field.
Okay. Well, essentially, he's making coffee. Like this thing is a very crude, rudimentary clockwork
Coffee machine.
espresso machine. Yeah, coffee maker.
Beautiful.
I love it.
So he's essentially made coffee, and I took the hot brown morning potion thing from the Dragon Prince.
I love that.
I thought it would be funny to call it that since this is a medieval setting.
I do really love the name for it.
I adore it.
Nice.
So, but anyway, the Angamar, the coffee's been served. It's been served with steamed milk and sugar, and there's spoons set aside if you want to add anything to your delight. Akima is freed from her bonds, but as one of the thieves finally removes the gag for her mouth, she makes a biting motion towards him, and he leaps back and then reflexively covers his nuts. And she gets up.
breath. That's the Akima I know.
He gets up and sits down next to Nil and then grabs one of the glasses and starts mixing her own, serving a coffee, drinks, and goes, "Wow, this is great! Oh my gosh, this is so good. What is it?" I just explained this. Were you not listening? Well, you see, being bound and tied and gagged kind of takes one's mind off of things, so... Yeah, Samar just throws her hand up in frustration and says, "Whatever, just drink your frickin' brown potion."
Nil whispers to Akima, sometimes being bound and tied and gagged, it helps me focus. I've done my best performances.
She just gets a look of absolute horror and confusion on her face. It's like, I honestly don't want to know where you got that from. I'd rather not. Please and thank you. So...
Rashida pours a lot of sugar into her.
We are the only ones other than the ASMR drinking the coffee, right?
Oh yeah. Like, everyone just wanted to watch and see what happens, but it's clear that, the excitement's over with. They're mostly just there just in case, Gronky brought out the strange coffee machine, and they've dispersed. They don't care anymore.
Okay. So Nil's going to drink some coffee. I feel like Nil is not the type that takes cream or sugar.
Okay.
She just would drink it straight. Yeah, like her skin, her soul, her everything. But she's not going to drink yet. She's just going to wait for the others to sip and see what happens.
Okay.
Valkyrie takes a sip of black coffee.
It is very invigorating. It's still hot because, of course, it was made with boiling water, but did you add any cream or sugar to it?
Nope.
Okay, so it's just boiling hot. It has a nice aroma to it and a really strong chocolatey aftertaste, but at first, when you first sip it, it has a little bit of bitterness to it. And you have to savor it first before that chocolatey aftertaste appears.
I really want beer coffee now. Yeah. Makes me want a good pint of Guinness.
Well, somebody dug up a good recipe for Ractagino, and I'm going to clean out my coffee machine and make it over the weekend.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah. So, what was I going to say? Okay. So yeah, but, I mean, you don't suffer any penalties. Nothing. It's basically just you drink coffee. There's nothing wrong.
Nil's a poisoner, so she doesn't trust any liquids. But
I got you.
After she sees everybody else consuming the coffee and they seem okay, she'll take a few sips.
Rashida's looks like just this basic blonde bitch's kind of Starbucks coffee.
Pumpkin spice latte.
Oh god.
You have a little thing of pumpkin spice in your bag.
Yeah, she's not even a little bit of pumpkin spice. She just sprinkles a little bit on there.
Yeah.
Puts a cinnamon stick in it.
It's a
Yeah,
smell
some more
that
finishing.
comes
Oh, go
you in
ahead.
Ugg boots.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh my goodness.
So the ASMR finishes her drink, sets it down, and then clears her throat and says, "Okay, I feel like we should do introductions. I am the Grey Dragon. That is not my real name, of course. That's just the title given to me since I am the leader of the Gilad chapter of the Thieves Guild. And who are all of you, if you don't mind my asking?"
Rashida raises her hand as she finishes her very basic bitch coffee.
Valkyrie follows Rashida's example and just kind of nods her head curtly, and I'm Valkyrie.
Uh-huh.
Nil sort of nods and smiles and says, "I'm Cleo."
Hang on. Oh, wow. She gives you a knowing look that she knows you're lying, but doesn't bother pressing it anyway.
If she doesn't call me on it.
This is very true. She just gives you a look that she knows it's not your real name. And then she, of course, looks at Akima and goes, "I already know who you are anyway. But I do apologize for the two methods we used to get you here. Because I will be honest, we've been tracking Captain Scarlet for some time. She isn't exactly a person of interest so much as her employers are. She's not a bad person, to say the least. It's just that the people that have purchased her services are, let's say, they make us look like saints, to be honest. And to see someone who, let's say, demonstrated some of our skills and talents while tracking the latest to come out of the Flaming Lion, it kind of intrigued us. So we wanted to make an acquaintance and get to know you and everything, and possibly offer you some work if you're interested.
Mill finger guns and goes, always glad to put on a good show.
Oh, I bet you are. I bet you always are. Now then, we seem to have a mutual objective. I am in need of good help. In addition to, I want to know more about what is this latest shipment that the owners of the mansion have requested this purchase for. And let's face it, we don't have a way of getting in right now. But we can work together to find one. What do you say?
How do we know? How do we know this is mutually beneficial?
Well, you're right in the middle of an entire, and I hate to use a turn of phrase, but a den of thieves. You don't really have a choice when it comes to mutual or beneficially mutual.
Very true.
So let's dispense with the whole, what do I get out of it? I'm telling you what you get out of it. You get our assistance. Because we seem to have a common goal.
Why do you think we can succeed where you have not been able to?
Well, my forces are currently tied up battling the Ironbeards at every turn. So I don't really have the, and I hate to say this, but the expendable manpower to go looking into certain things, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for.
Yeah, so I could use some free bodies, and I hate to say that, but let's face it, that's the honest truth here. I need some extra hands to go get something that I'm not gonna, lose some sleep over if they suddenly get killed. I'm willing to compensate you for your efforts, that is. In
You're
addition
wanting to pay us to be thieves.
I wouldn't say pay you to be thieves, but pay you to be information couriers of a sort.
Yes, we are procuring knowledge.
Yes, and you're also attempting to procure our trust and understanding. You accomplish this
Let's steal.
possibly. It's in the cards, of course.
What is your interest in exactly this shipment?
Yes.
Well, let's just say this. The Ironbeards showed up several months ago, and shortly after they showed up, a bunch of financiers purchased that mansion from the original family that lived there. That same family, unfortunately evicted and kicked out onto the streets, ended up missing a week later. One of my men decided to look into it of his own accord, considering that he knew their son, and found that the people that had purchased the mansion not only evicted this family, but had ordered them killed to silence them. He never found out why, of course, because shortly before getting the rest of the message to us, he was killed, so we never found out if there was a true motive behind why they were evicted and then subsequently disappeared. All we know is if someone is willing to kill off an entire family after buying their own home out from underneath them, they're definitely worth a watch.
And
And
so you
as a
guys are
result,
the good guys.
I wouldn't say we're good, but we at least maintained the status quo before the Ironbeards came into the city. As a result of their encroaching on our territory, there have been more murders, blatant thefts, kidnapping, slave trading, and other sorts, to the point where the city's guard is just overtaxed, stretched thin, and the people are demanding blood for it.
And you're losing money.
And we're losing money, that too, yes, blah, blah, blah. Let's get that out of the way, shall we?
Well, normally I don't like the thought of thieves, but it sounds like we might be helping fight the bad guys. So I think I could get on board with that.
Well, good. I would hate for us to have a disagreement on our first day of meeting each other.
Well, I certainly
That
don't
would be
feel,
unfortunate.
I don't feel like they have any reason to remain here. I don't agree with them being here. So yes, I'll help.
Okay, that's 2 of you.
I would like to know what other than allowing us to leave here so that we can be able-bodied researchmen, what would the compensation be if we should succeed in procuring this knowledge?
Okay, give me 1 second. I need to look that up. What did I put for that?
A measly 2 gold.
How does 250 gold apiece sound? This is a very
It
important
sounds
shipment
like
I
it's
want to know more
a really
about.
good starting point.
I knew
Oh, I
you
like
would do
you.
that.
You definitely know when to press the advantage.
I'm just saying, you need some able bodies. I've got quite a bit of experience in this, and I'm pretty sure we could come up successful. It's a great starting point. Why don't we say, since you are letting us leave with our lives, and we are in, as you say, a den of thieves, what if we see about raising it just depending on how useful our knowledge is once we come back to you?
Oh, there won't be need for raising it. I'm already going to tell you what I need to know.
What is it you need to know?
I need to know what pier the ship will be docking at, what time of day it's scheduled to arrive, in addition to the ship charter, who bought and paid for the services of this ship. The ship in question is the Emerald Nightingale. Sorry, something got caught in the back of my throat. It is called the Emerald Nightingale.
When it will arrive, when... okay, then the charter of the ship.
So you need what pier it will be docking at, when, and the ship charter.
Yep.
Who,
Now, what
what,
about
when, where, and why?
Scarlet's ship? Do you know anything about the shipment she just received?
Sadly, no. The man we put in place to go find that out was killed over in Gach.
Did you want to know what she had on the ship?
Because we do know.
Oh?
Shut up!
Oh, no. Do tell. She leans forward.
Falcon just starts to talk. It's like, oh, so
Oh no!
what they had
I want
was...
to intimidate Rashida into silence.
I mean, you can if you want. I'm not going to stop you.
I mean, the person that started the talk of it after Rashida is Falkrin. So if you want to stop somebody from giving the information,
I am going to glare at Falkrin and Rashida. I got a 16 in intimidation.
I'm gonna go ahead
Do we
and
have
say
to-
that Rashida's hands come up, and she's just like, whatever.
Falcrin, her eyes kind of light up and with recognition of what Nil's trying to do, and her sentence just kind of trails off.
As I said, what would you like to know about what was on the ship?
I sense that there's going to be some sort of monetary exchange in a few quick seconds. Isn't
I
there?
mean, that is how we show respect for one another's craft, is it not?
Well, you see, you say that, but then you have to remember the context of this particular situation. You're attempting to stiff the frickin' chapter leader right now. You do realize what that entails, yes?
And that's fine. You can kill me, and then you lose your able bodies, and you lose the information I might have.
Not necessarily. I still see that I have 3 more able bodies. And right now, only one of the original 4 would like to be sassy with me. So, you be the judge.
Falcrin nods in agreement.
I have no issue taking them out on my way out. But let's just say I'll give you information for 50 gold. And I'll tell you exactly what I found on that ship, because it's worth quite a bit more than that.
35.
Oh. I'll give
You haven't exactly won yourself into my good graces yet.
I usually don't.
Oh, I'm sure you never do.
How about I tell you some of what I found on that ship for 35 gold? I would be
That's
happy to do
fair.
that.
That's fair, and I can give you 15 more after you complete the job and tell me the rest. Is that a deal?
All right, 15 more on top of the 250 gold for the information.
Yes.
All right, so on the ship, I mean, do you have any alcohol? I don't even need the 15 gold if you've got
She
some
claps
for-
her hands, and out of nowhere, a female thief comes with a bottle of wine. In fact, it was actually the bottle that she was partaking in before. And surprisingly, another brings 4 additional goblets and sets them down in front of each of you and pours you all out some wine. The Grey
Alright.
Dragon then indicates with a wave of her hand and goes, "Is this fair of a drink for you, or would you like something stronger?"
I mean, if you've got stronger.
Well, she then
We'll
just, like,
save
just,
we'll,
like,
we'll save that for after
This is a
the
fine
proposed
starting point.
deployment. Yes.
All right.
Let's use your logic with this one.
Let's see, where is... So on the ship, there's something very interesting in Captain Scarlet's cargo hold. It is... I'm trying to find my notes so I can say it exactly. There's some very interesting black plate armor. Seems like it
Go
might have...
on.
Oh, is that interesting? I thought it might be. It's... Oh, I want to have my notes exactly right. Reminds me of the Raven Queen's armor. And it is trimmed with emeralds and cloth that hangs from the belt. And it gives off a very strange radiant aura, like a blessing, reminiscent of the blessing of the Raven Queen.
And as you say this, the Grey Dragon, she's very good at keeping her composure, but you can definitely tell she's interested in hearing more about this.
Did we ever, let me see. We found a letter in the hold, and I can't
Yes.
remember what the letter said.
Let me see if I can find it.
I know that Neil and Akima copied it.
Yes. In fact, I think I sent it to the people. Take a look. All right.
Oh, that's right. It said, "May Corva rise."
Yes. In fact, I think I might have sent it to Pan
Yeah.
as well.
Wait, the story of
The letter
armor?
we found in the store hold, like
Yeah.
hidden, said, "May Corva rise." But
Mhm.
before stating that, Neil's going to study the Asimur's reaction to finding out about the Raven Queen's armor.
No, I mean, she's done a good job up till now of keeping her composure, even when you mention the Raven Queen. So she's not exactly flinching or gasping or going, but she's very intrigued about knowing more. A very fancy set of armor blessed by the Raven Queen, you say. Interesting. That does sound familiar. And you said it was black plate trimmed in emerald?
I did say yes, black plate trimmed in emerald, giving off a very strange radiant aura.
Radiant aura. That sounds very familiar. She leans back for a few seconds, somewhat lost in thought, and then nods. And then leans forward again and asks, "How familiar are you all with the ethereal ones?"
Whoa.
Hey,
All I remember, I have some notes on Seth's knowledge of the ethereal ones.
Okay.
Could I do
bring
a
up
history
prophecy.
check to see how knowledgeable?
Sure.
Corva wanted to bring out the prophecy of the ethereal one, but I think that's all I know on it.
It's a 14.
Okay, give me one sec. I will go get the flavor text. I have it here somewhere.
Oh, yay.
There it is. Okay. I'm just reviewing it to make sure I didn't leave out anything else.
You're good.
Okay. No worries.
Okay, that's good. All right. I'm about to send you a thing. Watch it and tell me, hey, this is more than 2,000 characters. Oh my god, stop.
Oh my god, are you kidding me? I'm excited about that kind of stuff. When you hand me a block of text, I have fun with that.
Yeah.
I'll just throw it into a Google Doc. Actually, no, I know exactly how I could do it. Yeah, I'll just throw it into a Google Doc. It's easier that way.
It's so weird playing a character who really doesn't give a fuck about information, like about history or this is going to make me a better person.
Hmm?
I don't need all the knowledge.
Alright, I will send this to Rashida. There you go.
Yay, yay, yay.
And what did everyone else roll? Because no, I already gave this to Pam, so Pam knows.
Yeah.
What did you roll, Jade?
15 and it's history. I have 16 on history.
Okay, yeah, that'll definitely get you the history.
Thank you, like,
Okay. Let me know when you're ready.
I think it's the camera that junks everything up. So let's turn my camera back off. Fuck it. Oh. Okay, wait. I have to turn my camera off or my shit doesn't work.
Oof. I mean, you can always read it later. I just wanted to give you the basic thing that you got.
Let me read the thing. Okay, it's working, I think. Okay.
Okay. Let me know
So
when
the
you're
Raven
ready.
Queen is good and Corva is bad.
Yes.
That's all the knowledge Nil needs.
Okay.
But I will read it later. I will fully read it later because it's actually super interesting.
Cool. But I'm assuming everyone.
I really want to read.
Oh, I've been reading it, but I can read it later.
Okay. So, the Grey Dragon, after she watches the looks of recognition in Rashida and Nil's faces, nods and goes, I like this tale, so I feel like I'll say it again anyway, just to re-emphasize. But the Ethereal Ones were a band of adventurers that, through sheer happenstance, managed to come together and actually perform great deeds throughout this continent. One of which, while she claimed she was a disciple of the Raven Queen, many actually perceived her more as a demigod, blessed by the Raven Queen. And her armor, actually, her name was Gen Z, her armor was, in fact, black plate, trimmed with emerald, with cloth hanging down from the belt. No one knows what happened to her after the final battle at the furnace, but the fact that her armor has made it back here now, especially during these times, is somewhat worrisome. I don't know if you know, I don't know if you even care, but there have been whispers recently of a group of clandestine individuals who have their hands in everything. Leaders, trade, resources. Hell, there's even rumors that they might even be gearing up the kingdom of Darmok and the Krenim Imperium from going to war again. I mean, those two don't really get along anyway, but a bunch of angry mages is not exactly something one wants to have over evening tea, if you know what I mean. Either way, this cult that has risen up in recent times, not only are they dangerous, but we keep finding threads that lead to this cult wherever we investigate. And that mansion that the armor was taken to is one of those threads leading to this cult. So the fact that an actual armor worn by a member of the ethereal ones being possessed by this cult does bring with it a bit of an ominous ring. So that's particularly part of the reason why we've been keeping I can't speak anymore. Why we've been keeping an eye on the mansion, but at the same time also kept our eye out for anything else that could be happening as a result of this mansion being, like I said, bought out from underneath the original owners.
There was one more thing I found in the hold that it was an interesting letter.
Oh.
And it only said 3 words. And I
What did it say?
You would find them very interesting. Has she given Nil the 35 gold yet?
No, actually.
Perhaps you can entice me to speak by brushing my hands with some gold, and
She grabs from. She reaches into her robes and pulls a small pouch from underneath, opens it, and then tosses a handful of coins. And tosses some more, counts them out, and then shoves 35 pieces of gold across towards Nil. Ties up the coin purse again, puts it back underneath the robes, and folds her arms. Are you happy?
I mean, I'd be happier if there were a few more pieces of gold here, but you've given us drink, so
Yes.
I will give you this additional information free of charge.
Uh-huh.
And Nil pockets the gold.
Of course.
The letter said, "May Corva rise."
You watch as she visibly flinches and her eyes go wide.
Where she
I thought
is.
you
Say
might
that
find
name
that
again.
interesting.
Say that name again.
Please don't. Rashida whispers.
I have a feeling you don't really want me to.
No, I need to hear it. Say it again.
I mean, okay. May Corva rise.
I was afraid that name would crop up in relation to the ethereal ones. Corva, for all of her faults, was a very powerful dragonborn sorcerer and existed in the same year time frame as the ethereal ones. In fact, if she had succeeded in her obsession with Tiamat, we pretty much would not be as well off as we are today. I don't know why she wanted to bind the power of a god to her, but she did. And as a result of her fanaticism towards this I don't know, magical understanding, celestial order, some crap like that, she amassed a great following of people. From the lowliest of soldiers to the highest of leaders and kings. And the fact that one person alone had that much influence died, and then her name is being invoked again several centuries later is very alarming. As she finishes speaking, she nods, and then someone who's not quite dressed like a thief, but still dressed to go out, and, break in and enter, approaches, and the two of them bring heads together and they whisper it in a language none of you can understand. Unless, do any of you speak Celestial?
I do.
Okay. All right. Give me 1 sec. I will send to you what they say to each other.
I love being an Azmir who doesn't know that they're an Azmir.
That's super helpful.
Actually, I'm kind of excited to do this because, for her, it's kind of it's gonna be a thing of wait, what the fuck? I can understand that.
Why do I understand?
Well, it's gonna be for her, she can understand it. She's like, okay, they're just talking normally, whatever. But then everybody else is gonna be like, what the fuck are they saying? I'm like, you don't understand that?
All right. I've sent what she said.
Perfect.
And after they're done whispering in Celestial, the individual nods, although they get a look of fear on their face, and then the Grey Dragon has to give them a hard stare before they realize, oh, I gotta get going, and they depart immediately. And after she sent them away, the Grey Dragon then looks at them all and says, I know we got off to a bad start. I do tend to be a bit sassy, and I am interested in things. I do apologize if that has put us at odds. But, and you see her visibly tense and then relax as if a gigantic weight has been dropped off of her back. The mention of Corva changes things. I'm willing to assist you while you are in the city with whatever you need, but I do need some help thrown my way as well. Because my assistance, while I do think is valuable, is not without a price. Is that a fair agreement?
I mean, everyone's
That's
telling-
absolutely fair because that's what I would expect in return.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree with her.
Okay. I'm glad we've at least established that on a level of understanding. So, I will still honor our original agreement of 250 gold pieces ahead for each of you, in addition to 15 more gold pieces to... I'm sorry, I didn't get you... Oh, wait, no. I'm sorry, DM Kyle forgot.
Cleo.
In addition to the remainder of your fee, Cleo. And as she says this with a certain bitterness in her voice. But either way, I really do need to know more about that ship.
Nil winks.
Oh boy.
Oh my.
And she holds up the goblet and says, so, can we all drink to this agreement?
Well, I normally don't do alcohol, but yes.
Okay, that's good. She looks at Akima, who picks up the goblet and nods, but she's, she still has a look of absolute murder in her eyes for being kidnapped and being forced to kick people in the groin.
As she's giving her that look, Rashida puts the hat back on her head.
The look doesn't change, but she like pats the top of it and then feels around, finds a feather, and nods. But the look hasn't disappeared.
That's fine. She just doesn't look right without the hat.
Yeah.
Aww.
She's still holding the goblet, by the way.
Oh yeah, the Trina holds it and does the whole.
Yeah.
Falcon raises. Did they bring us more, or was
No, this
drinking
is
coffee?
still. They brought. So when Nil asked for drinks, the Grey Dragon called for wine to be brought out, and then asked if they wanted anything stronger.
Gotcha.
And then we went from there. So you all technically have goblets.
I feel like
full of
Nil's
wine.
goblet's probably already empty. Nil's goblet's
God.
empty. But Nil holds it up.
Okay.
That sounds about right.
All right then.
It's
To
empty, but I
new
promise my
partnership.
promises.
And she silently toasts all of you, and then takes a sip of the wine, smacking her lips.
Rashida pretends that it's like a communion and takes a sip.
And for those who do drink it, it's a very fruity tasting wine. I mean, but obviously it's dulled by the fact that it's got alcohol in it. But it's a very sweet one. Very appealing.
Falcon downs it.
Jesus.
Nil kind of like taps the bottom of it, trying to get the very last drop that she hadn't drinking yet.
Oh God. It's very her.
She kind of just ceremoniously places it back down, crosses her legs, and like leans forward and says, "So, what assistance do we get, and what more assistance would you like?"
I honestly just need that information on that ship. Like if you hadn't mentioned that bit about the armor, I probably would have had you running around doing more odd job errands while I found ways to get into the mansion. But given that you've discovered what that armor is, what it means, I think it's just best that we skip the pleasantries and the pretense and get straight to business.
I'm fine with that. All right. What sort of assistance would you be willing to lend us?
You see that chamber where somebody went flying earlier?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the fight pit.
Oh.
You want to find my man that's over there, Fizzle. He's my, Fizzle generally is the person that canonizes all of our new recruits, but I like to refer to him more as my lieutenant. So if there's any special errands I need him to focus on, instead of, beating the crap out of the new recruits, I tend to give it to him anyway.
Mill kind of shudders, remembering her days in fight pits in the Thieves Guild.
But yes, see to him, and he will get you taken care of.
Alright.
Mill kind of stands up and brushes herself off and picks up the cup again and says, "Any chance at a little bit more alcohol before we go?
No.
Just to seal the friendship."
No.
Fine.
Got work to
She
do.
leaves her coffee cup with only maybe one sip drinking from.
Oh,
I would
take some
better
coffee.
look fully sober. Yeah, but the coffee counteracts the effects of the alcohol. Mill's not
This is
very
very
into
true.
it. And she just kind of walks off towards the fight pit.
Alright, if that's the case, Rashida sort of nods her head to the Azamir in a very respectful manner and follows after Nell.
Okay. Akima
Falcon
gets up and
stands and gives
follows.
a small curtsy and does the same.
Big ass
The gray dragon looks at the curtsy and just makes a dismissive wave with her hand.
Nil, before completely leaving the room, does not look back, but just kind of puts a hand in the air and to motion a wave and leaves.
Oh God. So, anyway, the fight pit the fight pit itself is not that far from the main area. And as you watch, it looks like there is in fact a bunch of training sessions going on. There's one instructor who is watching over everything. And in the pit itself, you'll see all the new recruits because they're the most battered and bruised, as well as their trainers who are, they're a little battered and bruised as well, just not as much as the recruits. It looks like they've been doing this for years. So they know how to fight compared to these fresh, compared to the fresh meat that just, wanted to make a bunch of extra coin. And as you enter, the instructor looks over. And somebody give me a perception check.
Okay. Natural 20.
I'll try.
All right.
Okay.
You see a vaguely humanoid individual. They have a massive black beak with not necessarily orange, but very light brown feathers for their head. And their body itself is striated patterns of black and orange, terminating in a pair of wings that are striped with red towards the tips. And they look at you with piercing gold eyes, and they step down from the little raised platform that they're on, and then spread their wings and glide over to you and land. And you are looking at an Aarakocra, a bird folk.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
And he easily stands taller than all four of you, and he looks down and goes, well now, got us some more fresh meat it seems.
Oh, I'm not exactly.
Nil holds out her arm and pulls back one of her sleeves, and her sleeves on both of her arms, and shows them a bunch of scars, and points to a small scar on her face, and she says, "Oh no, I promise you, I have not been fresh meat for a very long time. I've done my time in the fight pit."
Well now, that's a welcome surprise. You can call me Fizzle.
I love his name.
So, what brings you to my little perch of tenderness underneath the city?
were told to come here by the great dragon.
All right. She sent you my way. Okay. I'm assuming you all want some help.
For the ship.
Well, yeah, she said. Yeah.
Oh, she wants you for that job. Okay. Follow me. And he walks, and as he walks, you hear the click-clack of course, talons on the stonework. As he proceeds back into the main chamber and then hooks a left and actually heads right in the same direction that Gronky disappeared to earlier. And as he leads you down the tunnel, you hear banging coming from an end of the tunnel. And he stops at a door that behind it you can see through the door jamb in the sides that it's glowing a faint reddish orange. And the banging is a lot louder now. And he takes a taloned foot and kicks it against the door, and the banging stops. And you hear a series of latches being opened. In fact, the speed and the force being used to open these indicates somebody's not too happy that they were interrupted. Doors swing inward, and you see the most buffest, scarred, cut-looking female dwarf in a blacksmith's apron, glaring up at him. And she puts her hands on her hips and goes, "What?" Easy now, little one. I got you some customers of a sort from the Great Dragon. Yeah, because the last time you sent me customers, they took my gear off to go do a little adventure of theirs, and then one of them got their hands blown off. Oh, well, that's what happens when you don't listen when someone tells you you like this thing the wrong way and it explodes. Exactly. I'm glad we're on the same page. Now, what the hell did you interrupt me for? Well, now, and he steps aside, and with his wing, he indicates to all four of you, these are the customers I'm referring to. Uh-huh. Okay, yeah, you can leave now. Go back to thrashing the new ones. Oh, I enjoy thrashing the new ones. And, he clacks away without even bothering to say goodbye.
The whole time her shit is just rigid and like doe-eyed, and every moment of like walking along with them, it's just like fucking soldier march.
Look of nostalgia in Nil's eyes. These are her people.
Yeah. The dwarf looks at all of you, and upon further inspection, while yes, she looks extremely buff and cut and got scars, the scars are more burn marks than they are, actual, bruises and, poorly healed wounds. So she definitely looks like she's a forge worker. Like, this is her craft. This is her life. This is her environment.
God.
She keeps her blonde hair pulled back into a tightly wound braid, and the braid itself is long enough that she loops it back around her shoulder.
Falcrin.
And she looks at all of you.
Very excited and is trying very hard to see around her to see what kind of forge she has.
Oh god. And she looks at all of you, and her eyes linger on Falcrin, and she sizes her up and goes, "Well now, it's not every day you meet another fellow forge master, it seems. Well, come on in. You're letting the hot air out. Let's go. Come on. She starts roughly shoving everyone into the freaking room and then shuts the door behind him. And for all looks that you could get before she actually pushed you into the room, this is actually a pretty spacious room. It has, in the back corner, a, what's the word I'm looking for? Not kiln, but a, not crucible.
Hi, Trish.
I guess a furnace.
Sorry, I crashed it again.
Oh my god! No.
I just wanted to see Tina. I haven't seen her all day.
I know, right?
Aww.
Yeah, she's my best friend. Anyways, bye guys.
Aww.
Hi!
My camera screws up my phone, but I just wanted to get to see you for a second.
Thanks.
Aww.
Okay, well, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, bud. I love you, bro. I love you too. Yay. Sorry.
I love her.
Okay.
I'm so bummed I'm not there this weekend.
I know. I want you to be here. I wish everybody could have come, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Where was it? Okay. So the room is rather spacious. You see a furnace at the back, which is the source of all the glowing and actually the heat in the room. And in front of it is a very ornate-looking anvil with tongs holding a piece of still glowing metal, as well as a hammer that's been set aside. And then there's another side corridor that's actually not really a corridor, it's just a side entrance, and you see a workshop behind that. And all sorts of bronze and silver and metal contraptions and tinkering noises and clanging come from there. In fact, the entrance is wide enough to accommodate that sphere from earlier and tall enough. So you're assuming that's where Gronky keeps his workshop. But either way, she looks at you all and then sighs and goes, all right, what you need? Let's get this over with. I need to get back to forging more weapons.
You got any daggers?
No, I have plenty of daggers, but this isn't exactly Ravia, where I can have them all fancy and light and stuff. This is more for stabbing and killing. And these aren't your, high-end daggers. These are just, they get the job done.
I don't need it to be pretty. I just need it to work. And so that works for me. The best, just one in and out, and I'm done. I'm good.
I got you. I know just the thing. She turns around and hops up onto what appears to be a set of stairs. Or it's not really stairs, it's just a stepping stool sort. Yes.
Oh,
and
that hurts because I relate to that.
Yeah. And you see that there are housed on various racks steel cooling, various blades, daggers. It's mostly daggers. In fact, the entire complement of it all is just daggers, knives, and throwing knives. These thieves aren't exactly big on carrying around long swords to hit people with. They're just they just care about, getting the job done and getting it done quick.
Falkman's mildly disappointed.
And she searches through the assortment and picks up a very wicked, serrated-looking dagger with a what looks to be a little trench cut through the middle, and holds it out to you. He goes, this one I made specifically for, applying poisons. You see that little run that goes right along the length of the blade?
Yes.
Back here on the pommel where it looks to be like a little flap, and she, with her thumb, flicks it open, and there's, in fact, a little little holding chamber. This, you store the poison in. When you're ready, you press down on it, and it opens up the channel, and the poison runs out, and you can use it on your target.
Oh, I like you, crafty little dwarf. That's smart.
Don't call me crafty little dwarf. The last person that called me crafty little dwarf got a hammer in the head, and believe me, it was not pretty when I was done with them.
I
Falkman
really like
giggles.
The name is Esmeralda. You try to call me Mez or Esmer or some other crap like that, you're going to get a hammer to the head. Is that understood?
Pretty much anything we do stepping out of your comfort zone, we get a hammer to the head.
Pretty much.
That's fair enough. I can appreciate that. Thank you very much, Esmeralda. This is a beautiful dagger. Do you have any of those some good throwing knives? For some distance piercing?
Yeah, give me a few seconds. She climbs back up onto the stool and then starts picking through the finished knives, at least. And then grabs an assortment and sets them down on a table and goes, there, pick which ones you want.
Oh, I like this. I like this very much.
She looks at Falkner and goes, what do you want? I might have it for you.
Oh, I don't really have a need for any weapons.
Oh? What do you mean?
I've got my own.
Let me see.
All right. She feigns that she's sheepish about it, but she's very happy to whip out what she's made for herself. She has her warhammer and a mace.
Okay. Roll me a performance check, please. This will determine how well crafted it's been made.
Okay. So performance for crafting is based on intelligence?
I believe so, yes. Let me take a look.
Nat 20.
Oh, right. Okay, so she inspects the Warhammer, holds it up by the bottom of the pommel, spins it around a bit, weighs it, hefts it a bit, throws it in the air, catches it, turns around and brings it down to slam onto the anvil, and it makes a very dull but harmonious ringing noise. She nods, hands you back the Warhammer, and nods again. Not bad. You know, there are a couple of stuff you could improve on, but then again, not bad at all. Keep up the good work. Let me see the mace. We're going to need another performance roll, please.
Okay. Sorry, I keep dropping it and it ends up on the floor.
Oof.
There we go. Ooh, that one was a 12.
A 12. Okay, she takes it, spins it, gives it a flourish, swings it through the air, tosses it to one hand, and as she tosses it, either due to the not proper balance in the mace, that pretty much puts the head a little off from the actual bottom of the pommel. Now, hang on, I got a freaking moth climbing over my freaking laptop.
Hey, stop that.
Scandal sent it.
Oh, God.
Whispered.
The eagles are coming, man. Okay, I think it disappeared
Whisper
for
a
now. I think I
message
probably have to
and
close
eagles
my
will
window
show up.
again.
Seagulls, stop it now.
Oh my gosh.
Easy there, Yoda. So as she tosses the mace to her other hand, the handle sticks out a little bit too close, and it collides with her hand and goes spinning off into Gronky's chamber and hits something. He goes, "No, not the freaking I gotta build that again. Why? Esmeralda, we talked about this." And Esmeralda just sighs and goes, "I'm sorry, Gronky, I was testing the newbies, gear. Sorry, whatever." Gronky comes out, very frustrated and angry, and hands the mace to her, and she points to Falkrin, and he angrily shoves the mace to her instead.
Falkrin takes it and hangs it back on her belt.
And as she does this, Esmeralda strokes her chin and goes, "That was not bad for a first attempt, but looks like some of the weight was put a little bit too much into the head of the mace, and that's what kind of overbalanced it in the end. Definitely recommend you consider watching how much extra weight you put in there. I mean, I know it's meant to be a swung object, but at the same time, if you swing it too hard, the center of gravity will throw it off and it goes flying. And trust me, in the battle, you don't want that. You understand?" She points her hammer at you.
Falkrin does not like being, she does not appreciate the implication that she didn't do a great job. She's like, "Oh yeah, I understand. This is one that I've made probably when I was a wee lass. I keep it around for comfort. It gets the job done."
Yeah, I understand that. At the same time, if you're going to be forging your own weapons, you should at least care. They don't just do more. Ugh, I got this, but I screwed that one up. You should care more than just doing the job.
Falkrin turns back and says, "Isn't that literally what you just said about every weapon in this room?"
Yeah, because I'm literally arming an entire guild. I have to make things pretty much the same. I don't have time to add little, flourishes or, overbalance this knife so it goes flying extra fast. I don't have time for that. Guild needs specific weapons, specific armaments. I provide them. Every now and then they ask for a specific type of weapon, like that serrated dagger I gave your friend there. But other than that, I really don't have time to, build my own things for me.
Well, I put all my time into that beautiful warhammer you sold, so you can go ahead and help the next person with what they need.
Uh-huh. She looks to Rashida. Looks her over. You don't really look like you need a weapon, do you?
No, not really.
Would you like one?
I mean, it would be better than a shiv and a crossbow, I suppose.
A shiv? Oh, no. We can't have that in here. Give me that. Give me the shiv.
Oh, okay, alright.
She takes it, inspects it, and chucks it into the furnace. Let me get you something better. And again, she hops up onto the step stool. And at one point, she's balanced on one foot, just trying to get to a very nice-looking knife up top. And finally, she retrieves it, hops down, and hands it over to you. It's not fancy. It's not pretty. It does what it needs to. Like I said, I arm an entire guild. I don't have time for fancy pet projects. But it's a lot better than a shiv, and it feels a lot nicer in the boot if you can stuff it down that far.
Rashida nods and says, I appreciate that, thank you.
Good. She finally turns to Akima and looks at her. You carry a lute. You have a fancy hat. I don't really think I can make anything for you. Let's see. And as you watch, Esmeralda kind of takes her chin in one of her hands and starts stroking it. And then she catches her eye on the rapier. And then nods her chin at it. Let me see that. Kima takes the rapier off of her belt and hands it over. Esmeralda takes it, balances it. She doesn't really go into the whole motion of thrusting and everything, all that, because she's just a weaponsmith. She doesn't really, she's not one of those high class, high society smiths that forge rapiers and all that. And hands it back to her. Goes, give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find something better for you. And she looks, and she looks again, and then finally comes out, surprisingly, with a sword of all things. But the blade is curved. And just like the dagger that Nil bought earlier, it has the same ornate markings and carvings along the pommel. And she hands it over to Akima. Try this one on for size. Tell me what you think. Akima takes it and spins it around for a few seconds. It looks like I actually have to look this thing up. Alright, it's finesse. It is a light weapon. See if she can actually use this. I don't think she can. That's not good. Class feature, spellcasting, bardic information. No. Feats, none. And as she spins it, she loses her grip on it and sends it flying, and it wedges itself into a test dummy. And Esmeralda sighs and shakes her head. Okay, maybe not that one. She retrieves the sword, heads back into the storage closet, puts it back, and then comes out with an extremely weird-looking contraption. It looks like a crossbow, but it's not. And then it's not in the sense that where normally there's, just the wooden stock that has the actual bow attached to it. This one appears to have a metal chamber, as well as an extension coming down from the metal chamber that appears to be loaded with crossbow bolts. And there appears to be a handle that one can pull back to cock the bow itself. But attached to that handle, or at least in the same area, is a crank of sorts. And she hands it over and nods to the side entrance and goes, Gronky made this. It's a heavy repeating crossbow. See if that does you some wonders. And Kima takes it and goes, when you say repeating, and before she can finish, Esmeralda shakes her head and says, when I say repeating, it means it basically fires fast. You don't have to cock it as much. Because that lever is spring-loaded, and she indicates the handle that you could pull back. And every time you fire, the spring actuates and shoves the entire handle back, so it essentially cocks the bow again for you to fire again. And that hand crank basically operates the handle and keeps it cycling so that you can continuously fire bolts until you run out. It's a lot better than having to fire a bolt, stop, use your foot to anchor it, and then wind up the bow and cock it. Kima takes it, nods, and then looks and sees, oh, hey, these things collapse. And then she closes it up, and it becomes a nice little... It becomes a collapsed version of itself, and she slings it over her back right next to her loot.
Oh, that's so nice.
That's very nice. That's super cool.
Thank you. I'm so glad I could introduce clockwork stuff into this.
That's really I like the kind of like steampunk element going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
That's super cool.
Esmeralda looks at you all and goes, okay, I think you guys are ready. Hell, you might be able to take on some Imperial Knights from the Crenum Imperium if they ever show up. If you know what I mean. And it's pretty obvious unless somebody wants to roll me a history check. If you want.
Oh my god, I rolled a nat 20.
Nice.
Wow.
What'd you get?
Officially, I got a 24.
Okay, and Nil, what'd you get?
My name, Nil. I got 3.
Oh, wow. Ooh. You know what? Just for the fact that Tina rolled a 20, I'll just give it to you anyway. The Imperial Knights. The Imperial Knights are essentially the elite guardsmen of the Crenum Imperium. Their primary headquarters is located in Anarax, the capital of the empire itself. But essentially, they come from all walks of life. There are no specific races, genders, what have you, that fill their ranks. Anyone and everyone can become a knight so long as they apply themselves. But the knights themselves are essentially guardians of the peace, as well as the enforcers of the emperor's will. And their weapons, while sometimes not enchanted, are very heavily gnome engineered. They're very clockwork in nature. In fact, that repeating crossbow that Akima just got is a pretty good facsimile of the real thing. They're very well renowned for their tactics in small groups, in addition to their fitness in hand-to-hand combat and one-on-one fighting. So you don't want to get cornered by one, nor do you want to have an entire group of them on you. Thankfully, they're basically just souped-up police, but they have been known from time to time to go operate outside of the Empire whenever it suited the Emperor's needs.
Just like cops.
Yes. Oof.
How many little throwing knives would you say Nil was able to grab?
10.
10? Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And then
And
whenever
she even throws in a little belt that stores all the knives for you if you wanted to.
That's awesome. Yes, Nil will definitely take a little belt for her knives.
Awesome. All right, give me one sec. I'm about to post something. This is the inspiration for the Imperial Knights.
We have so many little stabby boys. I'm so happy.
Do you mean the knives or the knights themselves?
Yes.
These groups of people that stab. Okay, I'll go with that.
No, my knives are my little stabby boys.
Esmeralda looks at you all and nods appreciatively and says, all right, you guys have got your gear, get out. I need to get back to building more knives since, a group of youngins came in and just took all of mine.
Rashida sees herself to the door, saying thanks for the dagger.
Mm-hmm.
Falkrin just turns quietly and leaves.
Okay.
Aw, that's so baby.
Oh, man. Nil, being a connoisseur of fine weaponry, holds out a hand and says, I really do appreciate this weaponry, even if my other dwarf friend doesn't. This is some fine craftsmanship.
Instead of taking her hand, Esmeralda beckons you down closer to her level.
Nil very cautiously obliges.
Yeah, she puts her face close to your ear and whispers, I meant what I said earlier to her. She's on the right path in terms of becoming a great weaponsmith. But she needs to put more care and attention into how she does things. So if you wouldn't, by chance, want to nurture that, I'd be very appreciative.
Mill stands back up and kind of like pulls the face and says, "That's really kind of you."
Yeah, I don't really get many chances to see fellow dwarves, especially ones that want to take it upon themselves to become a forge master, so... Don't tell her I said that, but tell her I said that. Good. Now get out.
Yeah. Thank you.
As you leave, the doors close again, and you can hear the banging from earlier start up again.
Nil is reminded why she does not exchange pleasantries with people. Because now she's like, do I tell Falcon this? Do I not? Ugh. I don't want to be nurturing. Ugh. She might tell her when she's drunk.
Oh no. So. And
She'll
ironically,
eventually
this is actually as far as I wanted to go because I got to plan the whole break and entering session now.
Fun.
So we are done for the night.
All right. Wow. That was
a fun session.
Thank you. I'm glad you
That was
enjoyed
a
it.
lot of fun.
I did have fun.
I like the Thieves Guild.
I love the fact that I was able to understand Celestial for once.
Nil has to nurture.
You'll get used to it.
Falcon's ready to throw hands.
I love that Falcon met another forger and a dwarf, and it just did not go well.
I mean, she just didn't take criticism well.
Yeah. She appreciated the fact that the Warhammer was made well and the maze was kind of eh.
Which Falcon knew that.
Falcon's just like,
Don't
don't tell me how bad I am.
What's that?
Dwarves are not really known for taking criticism very well.
No. And I was just trying to relive back when my mom tried to tell me, you could get A's in school if you tried harder. I was summoning that anger.
Beautiful.
Oh, gosh. Oh.
Oh, goodness.
I want to see character development where one day Falcon and Esmeralda share a cup of tea or dwarven ale and talk shop about weaponry.
Oh god.
Maybe they'll make a blade together.
Maybe. I'm hoping that Falcon's story will be one of immense character growth.
Oh yes. Especially when you guys head north to the Dwarven
God.
Confederacy.
Yeah, I'm very curious
I'm looking forward
to
to
see where
that.
Rashida goes from here.
Yeah. I find Falcon annoying and naive.
Version of Nil.
I find Rashida very non-confrontational.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's okay. Nil is very confrontational.
Falcon would tell you she's non-confirmational and then blow up because you've insulted her, so.
I could see that.
Yeah.
And poor Kima just spent half the game bound and tied and gagged.
Yeah.
I mean, the thieves needed to get you there somehow.
Yeah.
If the note didn't do it, they'd have another incentive to get you there.
This is true.
It's just insurance. And it saved us a trip to the lobster warren, that's good.
Yeah, you're not ready for that yet.
Oh, I didn't think so.
Yeah, that would have been a TPK if you guys had been foolhardy enough to go there. It's like, no. You're not ready to fight an army of cutthroats, murderers, and savages just yet.
Don't say that to Falcon. She'll try.
Oh my god.
Party.
She might just launch a holy crusade or something when she goes.
Right. She'll be like, you don't get to tell me!
Nil will just be so embarrassed.
Yeah. I'm hoping that Nil and Falcon become, I don't know if friends is the right word, but I hope they find a mutual understanding.
The fact that they're even allies in the first place is kind of astonishing, but super entertaining.
It is.
Oh, for sure. Maybe we'll have some sort of Legolas and Gimli moment, but I don't know yet.
That'd be cute.
Rashida or Akima have to toss you across like a stronghold.
Oh my god.
No.
And
Yes.
never know.
Yes.
Nobody tosses a dwarf.
Never tell Nil. Never tell
Akima,
Nil.
who somehow doesn't look buff and
you a bot.
ripped at all, just picks up Falcon and he yeets her across the stronghold.
Yeet. Today's lesson in Draconic.
Oh my god.
Yeet means be empty. So glad that's canon.
I love it so much. It is canon.
Yeah.
It is officially canon.
Yeah. All right. Well, I am going to hop off. If you have any questions, do not be afraid to hit me up.
All right.
And then when I've got the basis of the next session planned, I will start poking around for when you guys want to meet up again.
Okie dokie.
Sounds good.
I'm looking forward to Sunday.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. Death and woe and character sheet printouts and I'm just kidding. Just the good old game, whatever.
That's what everyone says.
Wait, what's on Sunday?
Okay, so
Tina's.
Yeah, it's Tina's game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that work?
Are you able to play that day?
Probably. I think so.
Okay, what is there
Okay.
a time that you're able to play that would be better? Because we have it set for noon. If it needs to change, just let us know.
Ooh. I think I could do noon.
Okay.
I don't know how I missed. I don't know. I'm hit or miss with Discord on weekdays, but
I'm also
sorry,
free
totally
tomorrow
oblivious.
night. I'm also free tomorrow night if Sunday doesn't work because I, had to get tested for COVID, so I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Sunday should be fine.
Okay. Yeah. And if we want to go Saturday, I should be free after like 6,
Okay.
6:30, depending on work.
Yeah, my weekend's pretty open. Yeah, COVID land is.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll plan for.
Thank you, Governor Ron DeSantis.
Yeah.
Fucker.
We'll plan for Sunday at noon, and if anything pops up, just let us know. We can try for Saturday, like after 6.
Sounds good.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Have a good night, y'all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.